change, yeah. You have collapsed my plans, yeah. And doubt for me is with your eyes. Yeah.
Oh to never see me. I'm better than you think of you. You're not very simple, you. Hold me to the waist, baby, touch me. On my skin, or you slow me. Let me feel something that you never imagined. Hold me to the waist, baby, touch me. On my skin, or you slow me. Something that you never imagined.
Wanted to bring to your attention again, after to every single SWC broadcast. Camilla here. You want to see a soft Ciara getting hit by Frog Move. We're gonna get that full team strip attack our first guy.
He did not pull a Champang yet. I would have thought I would see Sierra first. He goes to the
Okay, here we go. Oh, Lucian, it's over. Lucian, it's 12,000.
Mr. Chung is going to be this year's SWC champion.
This is war. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'll show you who's boss. The world is now a real-time battlefield. Join the global battlefield. Summoner's War, Lost Centuria. Download now.
going to bring to your attention, again, as we do every single SWC broadcast. Camilla here. You want to see a soft Ciara getting hit by Frog Move. Looking to get that full team driven back off this guy.
He did not pull the Champang yet. I would have thought I would see Sierra first pick. He goes to the
Okay, here we go. Oh, Lucian, it's over. Lucian, it's the 12,000.
Mr. Chung is going to be this year's SWC champion.
This is war. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'll show you who's boss. The world is now a real-time battlefield. Join the global battlefield. Summoner's War, Lost Centuria. Download now.
It is time to challenge the world. The Summoners War Championship is back here with SWC 2021. My name is Trobra, here with our resident expert, Peter, to bring you guys the APAC preliminaries. The Asia Pacific preliminaries will be kicking off today. We're here every weekend to see who gets to make it to the APAC Cup and then the championship. But we're back, baby, Peter. I mean, Summoners War is here once again with the championships.
Yeah, I mean, I've been so excited for this. I couldn't wait to come back. I mean, I've been here for the past 2 years, but this year there are so many meta changes, runes, artifacts, just balance patch. We got it all, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in that seat, right, just year after year now here for the APAC preliminaries, kind of seeing some of these players continue to return, so the new faces coming in, and that's, you know, no different this year, Peter. Of course, we're kicking off with Group A today, but just throughout we'll have a lot of familiar faces and some new faces as well. Of course, just as a heads up for everyone, this is proceeding online just to make sure, because of COVID-19, that all the players are safe, that we're not taking any risks bringing anyone into the studio. So just so you guys know, we even have this wall here amongst ourselves, even though we're here able to bring you guys the action. The players will not be on stage. So while that is just a bit unfortunate, it is better to make sure that these players are all safe and ready to go when they make it to the World Finals, of course.
Yeah, I mean, nothing worse than not having precautions during these times. Everyone got to make sure you stay safe at home. You stay snuck right into your blanket as you watch the SWC. You let us do the heavy lifting. We'll make sure to show us the best one you've ever seen.
Well, with the heat wave these days, I don't know about being in your blanket. Maybe you want the AC on with a fan next to you with a cup of ice cold water.
Good point.
But of course, if you're watching, make sure you're getting comfortable, because we have a lot of matches today. Just in a short moment, Peter, we'll get to take a look at kind of how everything's going to break down. But we have some changes. We've got a couple best of fives coming our way already in the preliminaries.
Right. That is one of the changes that I am absolutely most excited for, because there have been so many matches before we get to the finals and it's like, Violent Procs, Despair Stun, that was a little too many, and all of a sudden he wins,
Yeah.
But now, best of 5, it's all about skill, baby. You have to be in the game. Composure is needed in the draft. You have to be making the right plays, and I'm going to make sure I keep my eye out for that, because I am an analyst, and I'm going to make sure calling out mistakes.
There you go. That's why we have Peter here, to make sure that he's able to break everything down in detail. Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're kicking it off today, but this is a long journey ahead for SWC 2021. This is just the preliminaries for each of the regional cups. Of course, as you can see there, we've got the Americas Cup, Europe, Asia Pacific Cup is what we're focusing on here in Korea, and then, of course, the China qualification matches as well. That all builds into the World Finals, and the preliminaries here for APAC, double elimination, and each group will play on a separate weekend, Peter. So we're going to know kind of who from each group is going to be moving on at the end of every weekend.
Right, so we also have, the losers matchup coming up after this. So we have so many different diversity of plays coming out. Even from the same players, we'll see them again and again. So do keep an eye out for your favorite players.
Yes, and here, of course, are the basic rules for the qualification and the rules for how the games will be played. SWC mode, of course, will be applied. Consecutive pre-bans prohibited as usual. And this is the biggest change. The regional qualifiers will already have best of 5s in the decision matches. For those wondering what that means, of course, we're going to have a double elimination. So the winners finals will be best of 5, and then the losers finals will be best of 5 as well. When we get to the regional cups and then the world finals, it's all best of 5. I mean, if you make it to that stage, you got to be ready, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, there's another aspect to best of 5s, and it's that they can get very tiring on you. You can get mentally tilted sometimes, or even just lose focus, and that can be very crucial. So we're going to be seeing which one of these players in the bracket are going to be the best mentally prepared.
Yeah, I mean, it's already going to start mattering right now, and you can see our 8 players for this weekend. These are the players in Group A, and we have some familiar names if you guys have been watching. CHARMI definitely going to be familiar, of course, going all the way to the World Finals stage last year, but a couple new names as well. And what you're seeing on screen right now is just the winners bracket. Again, even if they lose, they're not out of the tournament. They will just have to wait until tomorrow for one last chance to try to get to that APAC Cup.
Yeah, I mean, a lot on the line for these players here. We've been reading into some of their player profiles, and we know that all of them are super excited, and many of them were concerned about how the Juggle nerf would affect the meta, and that's a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, that seemed to come up with every single player, like you mentioned, right? Some of them will talk about some of the other units and monsters in terms of preference, but everyone mentioned, okay, the Juggle nerf is going to have an effect one way or the other. We'll see how it actually pans out. Will we continue to see that Juggle being utilized a lot, or are players going to start to kind of skirt around and focus on the other monsters that they've been favoring in these last couple weeks? But we're getting ready for this first match coming right up. We'll be able to take you guys in to the player profiles in just a moment. But Peter, this is exciting. I mean, 2 full days every weekend of Summoner's War here from the APAC preliminaries.
Yeah, we are absolutely packed to the brim with Summoner's War, and I can't wait to start breaking down some of the meta for you guys. One of the main units that I am on the lookout for is, of course, Water Ryu, We know how strong that monster can be. Not only does it bring strip, leader skill, it can also solo teams.
Yep, well, we'll have to keep an eye out on these spotlight units, but our first match we'll be getting in just a moment. It's going to be CHARMI versus fourbaby. And CHARMI, of course, I mean, he's got a reputation now. He was tied for 3rd place at the SWC 2020 World Finals. And coming into this weekend, he says, well, I don't know if I'm as prepared. I kind of want to just make sure I'm participating with a good heart. But if you get 3rd place in 1 year, you have some expectations to uphold coming in the next year.
Right, CHARMI is definitely a name that we know. We see this player. We remember some Miho crazy plays. He's always been bringing a meta of his own. And he says that he really prefers to use Wunsa. He likes to play CC comms, but he's also like a chameleon, switching up his playstyles whenever needed.
Yeah, we'll see if he's still able to switch those colors as we go, even just in this first best of 3 against none other than fourbaby. Fourbaby coming in once again with his son, who we'll see later today, secondbaby. But fourbaby, of course, a father of 4. That's why his name is true to himself. And he is no stranger either. Of course, has participated before in the APAC preliminaries in 2019. And I mean, we see the ragdoll there. I mean, that's of course going to be a highly contested unit.
Right. This is definitely a player that we are more than familiar with. As he says, he prefers to play around the Dragon Knight, the ragdoll, as you mentioned. He likes to be going with like the bruiser fights in between, relying on that ragdoll to win him some matches with clutch torrents, getting the ignored defense. A unit is down in 1 turn.
Yeah, so we'll see fourbaby. I mean, he clearly has a plan coming into this match, but as you mentioned, Peter, he's up against CHARMI the Chameleon, right? So we'll see if he's able to stick to his plan or if he'll be forced to adapt as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to kick off the very first match of the Asia Pacific preliminaries here for SWC 2021. These players here to challenge the world for the crown as they try to make it all the way to the World Finals. Here we go with the first draft, waiting for the pre-bans as they come out just now.
Right, we see the ragdoll pre-ban coming out. That was pretty predictable because we know fourbaby can be really big of a threat to deal with, especially when he's equipped with the ragdoll, and Chungpung being banned out shows that fourbaby did research on his opponent. CHARMI uses that a lot.
Yeah, and the Mo Long coming out right away for fourbaby. A lot of these players in Group A also mentioning Mo Long kind of as this unit that they're keeping their eye on this weekend.
Absolutely. Mo Long, Reckless Assault, one of the scariest monsters in the game if you leave it untouched. And as CHARMI is thinking about potentially locking in 2 units that are very familiar to most of the community, Nephthys and Jogun, very strong at grabbing control, especially on the first turn. Even throughout the second turn, they have fantastic synergy.
Okay, so CHARMI, you know, in his pre-interview, in his profile, he says, well, you know, I think the Jogun changes are going to hit pretty hard, but he still favors that unit for now, as we see, of course, the Water Howl coming in, Lulu. I mean, no big surprise if you've been keeping up with the meta.
Right. The Lulu pick out of fourbaby does mean that he's going to be opting for a team comp that is going to try to survive the onslaught from CHARMI from first turn. It doesn't really seem like fourbaby wants to be contesting the first turn just yet. And of course, we see the Icarus and Ganymede combo. When you have Gany paired with units that have really strong skill 2s and 3s, it can be really devastating. So we see fourbaby responding a little bit with the Haegang. We know he's fantastic at dealing with Jogun.
Okay, and then it's going to be Diana coming out last. So fourbaby complete there. Vertihile, the consideration here for CHARMI.
Yeah, the Vertihile pick, I am not too sure of because there's a lot of water on the opponents, but there's also a decent amount of AoEs that Vertihile can make use of. And if he does lock in the Vertihile, that does mean that he potentially will let the Diana through on the side of fourbaby. And we got to keep an eye out for this unit because Diana Pew Pew, that's what the show is about.
Of course, whenever the Diana's in the game, all eyes are on her. So we're waiting for the post-bans now. We've kind of broken down the picks, the reasons potentially behind for these 2 players. What are their considerations here? We're waiting for it, Peter. I mean, does anything stand out? Oh, actually, there we go. It's going to be Ganymede, and then Haegang going to be banned out.
Right. Haegang, he is almost always banned by players because they really hate getting interrupted on their combos. So we have CHARMI. He's going to be able to grab the first turn with the Jogun followed up by the Nephthys. Everything is on Will Rune, so he's going to go for the strip. He lands everything. Diana cuts in. It is not smart nor recommended to transform here. Shield is definitely the smart option. Okeanos, you have a chance to cut in. Go for the Spear of Devastation. Reset a priority target. Perhaps Nephthys. Perhaps Icarus. It is going to land.
Wow. Okay. So fourbaby answering right back as CHARMI did have the opening he kind of wanted, but fourbaby has the answers ready.
Right, so the reset happened, and now there is not a lot of control on the side of CHARMI. Not able to utilize the Jogun combo at all. Icarus skill 3 is just going to poke it down a little bit, and Lulu and Francis heal up Okeanos. You're getting 12,000, healing right into a violent proc.
Oh man, that Lulu, I mean, such a annoying monster, of course, because they're just constantly keeping everything alive. This is something that CHARMI's going to have to consider. Oh my!
Triple stun from the Molong. He says, sit down, CHARMI. This is Diana's moment to shine. Of course, Diana does not have the skill 2 available, so he's got to wait a turn. Doesn't proc, but Okeanos, Rain of Stones, quadruple stun.
Okay.
Amazing CC coming out.
All right, fourbaby, everything's lining up for him right
Here we
now.
go.
Can he carry
Reckless.
it? Vertihile is taken out right away by that Molong.
Right, this proc out of the Jogun is not going to be too helpful because mainly he wants to be locking down the Diana before she gets her skill 2 off on the armor break. Icarus, however, does proc, so this does mean Diana's not going to be able to have the killing angle, but she doesn't really have a skill either. She can only do skill 2, skill 1. They're not really going to do much.
Yeah, so fourbaby just going to be hanging out here. Of course, is going to transform that Diana.
Pew, pew, pew. There is a decent amount of poke coming out. That is going to be about half HP chunked out by the Diana. And now Okeanos, Spear of Devastation, gets resisted.
Okay, CHARMI, of course, already down 1 unit. Can he keep this game alive? The double stun coming out again from the Molong.
Molong! He is popping off this match, getting the procs, getting the stuns, getting everything that fourbaby wants. Diana gonna prioritize this armor break, use that skill 2, inevitable one, pew pew pew, and there goes Icarus.
All right, already a huge numbers advantage, and there you go. I mean, CHARMI sees the writing on the wall. fourbaby is going to take the first game of our first match. Here in the APAC preliminaries, he is up 1-0 in this best of 3.
fourbaby, what a showing from this man. That was a perfect usage out of the water hell. Of course, the Okeanos luck with the Spear of Devastation on turn 1 was a huge turning point for him, but whatever the case, once he had that, he had the whole match. This guy is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and I mean, we mentioned Molong before, right? That Water Panda Warrior. Some of these players said they have to keep their eye on that unit, and fourbaby says, this Water Panda is working for me this game. Takes advantage of it in game 1. We'll see how that potentially changes. Of course, the pre-bans in the first game not able to be repeated here, so Ragdoll and Chungpung still on the board.
Right, Ragdoll and Chungpung, as you said, are able to be picked by both sides, so we are keeping an eye out on how that affects the draft as we wait on the pre-bans to get locked in.
Okay, well, both players taking their time, considering a little bit. Of course, I mean, it's still best of 3s for now, right? The best of 5 doesn't come until later. So CHARMI especially, he's down a 0-1. He has to consider this carefully.
Oh.
Okay, so fourbaby says, you know what? I know what I did to you with Molong last time. I'm going to take that out just in case you want to get revenge.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the, the biggest spotlights the units had in the previous game instantly gets locked out by both players. And now CHARMI, you do have the Chungpung pick available. Do you take that first? Is it that important? No. He is thinking about the Jogun. He is just blinking units left and right. And there is Lulu.
Okay, the Lulu kind of being the pivot point, right, for fourbaby. I mean, that Lulu is just going to be able to keep everyone alive no matter who they are. So CHARMI says, you know what? I'm going to make sure not only do you not get to use this monster, but I will make sure it's on my board. Maybe you ban it, but that's something you now have to consider.
Right. Every time I see Lulu, I get a bit of a PTSD because I hate the sustain meta, and she is absolutely topping the list of sustain supports right now. As fourbaby says, I want to try to kill your units fast. I don't want to deal with their heals. Sierra, Ragdoll, both going to be great bruisers for fourbaby.
Yep, Sierra, of course, very, very familiar here on the stage. I mean, even last year we saw it if you were waiting in the countdown, the most picked monster in 2020 SWC. As you see the picks coming right out for CHARMI.
Yeah, I'm a little bit grossed out by the draft here. The Molly and Lulu. CHARMI is making sure that he has the sustain locked down. He does not want to lose units too easily, as fourbaby now grabs himself the potential attack buff as well as the immunity against Tessarian so that his Ragdoll passive does not get locked out. 7 seconds left on the clock. Fourbaby is taking his time to think. There is his good Diana again.
Yeah, just good old reliable Diana coming out for fourbaby. We'll see how that pans out for him. I mean, CHARMI seems to have a very, very strong idea on how he wants to answer back here in this game too. We'll see if he's able to carry it all the way. Vertihile still going to be on the mind for CHARMI, even in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, CHARMI really loves his Nat 4s, especially the ones that can carry. And here we are seeing two Nat 4s that are the exact example of a carry. Vertihal and Kaki, both very strong units in the meta.
Yeah, those Onimushas, I mean, for all attributes, all the players said the Onimushas are making a big wave right now. So those are monsters we're kind of scared of facing. And CHARMI says, all right, fourbaby, are you prepared? I've got both Vertihal and the Fire Onimusha on the board.
Right, so the Diana is going to be a much less of a threat this game because CHARMI has way too many fire. fourbaby, seeing that CHARMI has no immunity / cleanse if he bans out the Lulu. So this Rika pick does put some direction on the ban that fourbaby potentially wants to go. Of course, there's Molly for the cleanse, but that is a single target and the Rika is let through. So keep your eye on the Rika. That is the main threat.
Okay, so maybe taking a bit of a chance, CHARMI. We'll see if that Molly's going to be all he needs for this game, too. Again, we're still in the best of threes for now, but no one is knocked out. Even if they lose this game, it is double elimination.
Wow, very fast Molly from the CHARMI. He can potentially go for a strip here that will allow him to combo into the armor break. He does land it. The armor break does not connect. Sierra got the bomb. 3 targets available. There is Kaki, who has a high defense usually, so it is a smart positioning of the bomb. Rika with an open field goes for the second skill, gets only 1 stun.
Okay, Vertihal going to answer right back, and CHARMI already off to a maybe slightly better start than last time, but definitely better start.
Yes, it is going to hurt as the 10K comes out as a response. Of course, the Diana proc is going to be very tricky for CHARMI to deal with. Those debuffs, he really needed to stick. But of course, the cleanse is here for the Kaki, so now he is looking healthy with the shield. Sierra, she procced earlier, she's got the bomb. Locking down Vertihal, very smart. He wants to be getting the stun.
Yep, and gets that onto Vertihal. Now Kaki getting his turn.
Oh,
and the Kaki, I mean, this is kind of where my eyes are, Peter. These Onimushas are so scary!
20,000 from Kaki. Goodbye, Diana. And now the problem is, Vertihal is also locked down, so it is going to be a 3v3 very quickly. The main thing CHARMI's got to watch out for is that the Sierra, he's got to make sure it doesn't cycle through the bombs. Oh, and here comes the skill 1. No sleep, so the Rika does not get an additional turn. Looking bad for CHARMI as the Sierra procs.
Well, you said it and it happened. The Sierra getting multiple turns there. And now it's down to a 3v3.
Yeah, at this point, Sierra's just going to land out another Fate of Destruction. It is going to land. So Molly, goodbye. It was nice knowing you. Rika with the toy knot tried to get some stuns. Gets 1. Now, Kaki, you need to be getting the procs. The armor break, and he gets the kill.
Oh my gosh, we talked about the Onimushas. This Kaki, can he maybe carry it all the way through for CHARMI?
Right, that stun out of the Rika does hurt. The Oblivion, it's doing a lot of damage to the Ragdoll. Kaki is really trying to carry this as the damage comes down. Here goes Kaki with the skill 1. Does not proc, no armor break. This does mean Ragdoll. Skill 2, turret!
Oh my gosh, fourbaby is able to close it out, and he gets a quick 2-0 against CHARMI, who went all the way to 3rd place last year at SWC 2020.
fourbaby, what a player, man. This guy absolutely stomped over CHARMI, and we talked about what a threat CHARMI was to deal with. We know he plays really high last season in the SWC as well as even in RTA ladder, but in both games, whether or not he had a Ragdoll, he showed that he's got the strategy ready to go. What a showing.
Yeah, I mean, fourbaby, it looked, kind of questionable when the Kaki was still alive. It was like, okay, Ragdoll, Kaki, who's going to take the lead? And then fourbaby just says, Ragdoll, baby, still on the board. I'm taking this game. I mean, very, very clean games from fourbaby. I think he just came very well prepared on what CHARMI might bring out on the very first day.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was mainly excited for in this new meta. No longer do we have Gani Hathor CC, lasting for 10 minutes. We have more games now where it's about these violent procs. Can they get enough damage to get a kill? It matters so much now.
Yeah, and a lot of the players have kind of voiced the same thoughts as they were preparing for this weekend as well. Again, we've had a couple written interviews as we're trying to get into the minds of the players, and all of them having the same thoughts, right, about some of these new monsters that are popping up, about kind of the speed and pacing of the game. fourbaby was just out on top over CHARMI here in Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, fourbaby, the one thing that these players have to be watching out for now is that they got to see a lot of the strategies out of fourbaby. We've seen Molong, Okeanos, Diana, Ragdoll. We know this guy has a complete arsenal. I'm really looking forward to seeing how our next players deal with the comps out of fourbaby.
Yeah, of course. Now, no one's out just yet. That was just the very first best of 3. You have so many matches ready over the weekend. It's double elimination. So, fourbaby, we'll see him later in the day in the semifinals of the winner's bracket. But, of course, we still have 3 more first rounds to go through. But before we move on, let's take a quick look again at just how that game broke down. You've already kind of mentioned the key monsters that fourbaby brought out both in Game 1 and in Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many key monsters that I don't even know what to focus on. However, I do know when the replay comes out, we're going to be able to break it down step by step for you guys what exactly were the crucial turning points. To be honest, in the first game, it felt like one turn decided it all as we get the replay here. So this is after Okeanos landed his reset onto Nephthys. Of course, the Vertiheld there was also a bit of a questionable pick from CHARMI because it did not really bring much to his team comp. His comp was a bit too one-dimensional. Once Shogun and Nephthys got shut down, it was over for him. And now in this match, it was back and forth. Procs versus procs, damage versus damage, as we see units taking down one by one. And at this point, we were really looking forward to seeing the cocky turnaround. The procs were there, but the torrent, just too much damage.
Yeah, it was looking close until it wasn't, right? That's the best way to sum that one up, as fourbaby wins both set 1 and set 2, a swift 2-0 victory for fourbaby as he will move on to the winners bracket semifinals. Of course, CHARMI not out of the tournament just yet, not out of the preliminaries. He will be waiting in the losers bracket. He will be playing again tomorrow. If you're interested in his matches, he's still going to be here. He still has another chance to stay alive, keep his road to the World Finals alive just a little longer. Well, Peter, we've already taken a kind of quick glance at what we're expecting this weekend, and now we have another match coming up. It's going to be Luckygod versus Jack. And I wonder if we'll see more differences. I mean, even already CHARMI and fourbaby bringing out very different monster priorities.
Yeah, I mean, we've already gotten to see a little bit of a taste into the meta. We got a spoon into that ice cream tub. And now, of course, we have 2 different players coming in, as you mentioned. Luckygod, this is a player that we have seen many times. One interesting thing to note about him is that he has been always seen trying to outspeed people with Gianna. But he actually mentioned that he likes to play the second turn now. Not going to be too surprised to see Lulu and friends out of him.
Okay, we'll see if he still sticks to that or if that's just something on his mind, but he's still going to go back to Old Faithful as we take a closer look at the man himself, Luckygod. Of course, coming out, he made it all the way to the APAC Cup in 2019. He was here for the APAC preliminaries last year, and there you go. You've already mentioned the Gianna. It's one of his most picked back in Season 16.
Yeah, and it says that his goal, although he's never made it too far in the previous SWCs, here, he wants to be winning the whole entire SWC.
I mean, listen, man, if you're going to get into a tournament, you better want to win it all, regardless of how you got there, what your reputation's been. You're here in the moment. Anything can happen if you come prepared, and Luckygod is a player who's been within Summoner's War for so long that he definitely has the experience.
Right, if he wants that first, he's got to prove himself here at the SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries as he is faced off against Jack, which is another player that we need to be taking a close look at because he actually likes to play some Sierra Gianna, so we're seeing a bit of a cross effect. You know, they have some strategies that they're sharing.
Okay, yeah, a little bit of cross priority here on those oracles. Of course, Jack coming in as a new challenger into this season for SWC 2021. And just something that spoke to me in his profile was he just, even though it's in writing, it sounded so sad when he was asked about his favorite monster and he goes, well, you know, Ragdoll, which I don't have, and there's ... at the end. So Jack, you know, wanting to get that Ragdoll, doesn't have it just yet, but of course still focusing on those oracles for himself.
Yeah, that brings me to a point where I've seen another player earlier say that he actually has 2 Ragdolls, and that's one of the most notable things about him. Well, I'm sure those of the viewers in the chat also relate to this claim. We all want a Ragdoll, and we also pray that you get a Ragdoll so that you guys can maybe even come to the SWC and prove yourself against these mighty titans.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're always kind of seeing some of these new faces pop up. Of course, a lot of familiar faces returning. So SWC continuing to kind of provide this platform for all of these players around the world that are joining in Summoner's War. Well, we're right into Game 1, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second match here in Group A of the APAC preliminaries.
Oh, we see a completely different band out of these 2 players. Tian Lang, definitely a strong pick for Luckygod. That pick has done him some great work historically, as we see the Fire and Bison being banned out by Luckygod. That is another unit that has come to be in a position of priority in this meta.
Yeah, well, we were talking about this right before the broadcast started, Peter, and you had mentioned mentioned that, yeah, this Fire Emblem Bison is something that might pop up due to the meta continuing to shift, and now we're seeing it right away. Luckygod says, you know what, let's just take it off the table. I don't want to have to deal with that, as we're now waiting for the first pick from Luckygod, and there you go, no big surprise.
Yep, that is one of the main advantages you have. When you have first pick against somebody with similar monster box as you can take whatever you please. Of course, Gianna is a very strong monster in most games. Sierra, Lulu, and Fran's response from Jack, I do like that. I feel like he's taken some core units from Luckygod's strategy.
Yeah, and again, these are monsters, you know, the Oracle's, of course, very, very familiar. Lulu being very familiar in these days meta, and all the players seeming to place high priority as we look at that Okeanos and Nephthys being considered for Luckygod.
Yeah, and we see, of course, the Nephthys coming out. This is a unit that has gotten a slight nerf, but she is definitely still prevalent in the meta, especially strong pick with Okeanos because he can use that armor break, deal good damage with Rain of Stones. Now, if you're Jack, you see a lot of debuffs from your opponents. When you see Gianna and Nephthys, there are a lot of defensive picks available, such as Haegang. There's Water Mermaid. There's a bunch of arsenals that he can choose from.
Yep, and as you mentioned, Haegang, of course, on the mind for Jack. He jumped right at that opportunity, still kind of considering what he's going to round out his picks here. Okay, going for both. Peter, you are just on point today.
Yeah.
I love it.
I am very happy to see that. Jack agrees with me, goes for the Tetra and the Haegang. Of course, this does mean that Luckygod is now going to consider some wind units, especially in the direction of hard carries. We've seen him blinking the Savannah. Excuse me, Luckygod. That is not Savannah. That is a Xerath.
Okay, so switches it completely up, going to finish his picks, of course, with that Joe Gun. So while the Joe Gun's not surprising, the Dragon a little bit out of left field.
I love this attempt from Luckygod because Jack has a very defensive comp, as we mentioned. But now with this onslaught of damage coming in, we definitely see Jack. He is hesitating now. He knows he's in for a real trouble if he lets all the combo go through. So if you're Jack, how do you interrupt it? You go with the Rika, you pray that she survives, and you utilize the round 2 to try to turn things around with the dot, with the control. That is what Jack wants.
Yeah, I mean, Peter, I definitely don't have as much of an understanding as you do, but even I can tell Jack right now, super defensive, right? He's just kind of hanging back, and I'm a little scared for him because it seems like Luckygod has an idea here. He was somewhat prepared for this kind of matchup.
Yeah, the one weakness to Luckygod's comp is that without Nephthys, there's no defense break. So do you take out the defense breaker or do you take out the main nuker? He says, Xerath, I don't want to deal with you. Haegang is taking out on the side of Jack. So now it is going to be Luckygod's combo going through if he gets the first turn. Let's see how much damage he has equipped on these supports.
All right, well, we're starting off with game 1 here in this best of 3 between Luckygod and Jack.
Here we go. Gianna gets 3-man stun. So now all Jogan has to do is put the spoon on top of a finished table, lock out the unit, and now give attack buff over to his team. Nephthys setting up the armor breaks, and now it's Okeanos' turn to shine. Oh.
we were going until we weren't. You know, we were
Yeah.
going full speed until we quite weren't. So Luckygod not able to continue that all the way through as the bomb comes out from Sierra.
So he decided to save skill 3 there because he wanted to save it for the CC rather than the damage. So he aimed for the skill 2 to get some good crits. However, the crits did not connect. So now Okeanos needs to get everything done in this round as much as possible. As Nephthys, she can lay out the silence onto Lulu. Make sure that it doesn't get the cleanse off. Okeanos, here comes the damage. Rain of Stones does some decent damage.
Okay, and gets the stun onto the Sierra as well, so Luckygod still able to play out some of his game plan so far.
Yeah, but the Tetra comes back out of the scroll trap now, and she is there to cleanse away whatever debuffs possible. Sierra looking real low. She is going to be taken down at this point. Jack, he only has the Rika to really try to hard carry this, and Rika definitely can do that. Toy Knight comes out, 2-man stun, attack speed still applied on 2 units as well. Rika is looking real strong right now. The reset misses!
Oh, that's huge. I mean, Jack kind of relying on the Rika, and he's able to still keep it up as he gets to sleep as well.
The sleep coming out does mean Rika has the skill 3 available now. I am looking at this Rika, and I am seeing a carry inside her. She is about to let out her bazooka gun. Skill 3, Fire Guardian Angel. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but the dots after is going to do a lot as Nephthys has no response. Oki trying to stun him by some times, but look at those dots.
Oh man, the dots all still on Luckygod. No real answer to that. Well, Jack, I mean, he can keep that Rika alive forever right now.
Yeah, there's another Toy Knight
Oh my
coming
goodness.
out, grabbing everyone, just locking them down. So we mentioned Rika being a unit for Jack that he wanted to try to survive. You know, he didn't want this unit to die no matter what, his main game strategy. And it's been let through. She's been able to do whatever she wants. And this is the result.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're looking at it and you say, okay, well, I took out the Sierra early, but why does that matter when the Rika's just going to stay alive forever, putting all these dots non-stop with the support on that team?
Yeah, I mean, Rika just going to be able to finish
Oh,
off
man.
the round. And Jack, what a play from our player, taking out Luckygod, a veteran here at the SWC. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Jack, he said, you know what, you might have maybe gotten a read on me, but I know how to sustain my team. I know how to stay alive and shut you down eventually. And Jack wins that quite confidently here in Game 1, Peter. Maybe a bit of an upset. We'll have to see as we look into Game 2. Now that you've seen what's on Jack's mind, what are the bans going to be? What are the picks going to be? We're taking a look again at the last round's pre-bans. We have that M. Bison. We have the Light Panda. Of course, those are now open. How do you switch up these pre-bans?
Well, I'm pretty sure that the last match is definitely going to have some effect now on the pre-bans coming in. As we do see, of course, the two crucial units for both players in the round one getting banned out respectively.
Yep, that Lulu, I mean, you see her once and then they're out once again right away after you. People are like, okay, well, you know, we'll let it through, and then you see, you're like, actually, yeah, that's a good reminder. Let me just ban that out. So in Game 2, Lulu going to be banned out. As you mentioned, Peter, Neff just banned out, and Jack now has the first pick.
Yeah, so on Jack's player profile, he has mentioned that he is lacking a diverse rune pool. He is also lacking some light dark nat 5s. So this does tell me that he's going to be lacking rune pools even on his normal elements like Sierra. So how does Jack overcome this problem? We've seen him circumvent it with Rika, because technically Rika's a unit that doesn't really require high rune quality. All that matters is the result of the game. Does she get her turn, right? But in this match here, if he doesn't go for the Rika, obviously he's completely relying on runes unlike before. So we're going to be seeing the picks coming out of Luckygod, Okeanos Gianna, two very powerful units in terms of control. Very solid picks overall.
Yeah, just kind of sticking with True Faithful here for Luckygod. But I love what you mentioned, Peter. I mean, Jack having to work with the arsenal he's got, and he made it happen in Game 1. Now the question is, how deep does it go here in Game 2 in this best of 3, as we see that Haegang and Mo Long coming back out as we saw it earlier in Match 1.
Mo Long, this is a monster that is getting scarier and scarier as the matches go on. We've seen the stuns out of him being more consistent than we've ever seen. Violent procs, armor break, he's got the reckless assault, so much damage as Luckygod responds. No thank you, I will not let you have the Mo Long that easily. I'm gonna try to disrupt your combo with triple strippers.
Okay, so Luckygod continuing to show that he has answers ready on paper. But in Game 1, it didn't quite work out. Of course, Jack was able to edge things out. So we'll see if Luckygod can bring it back to try to go to a Game 3, as the picks are happening quite quickly towards the end here. Jack going for that Carnal.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen also an animal pick paired with the Carnal. So Jack, once again, showing that he likes to play the second turn when he can. And of course, the Haegang being let through this time does mean that he's going to cut in. But will he with the Tianlang there? That is the question that we are looking at for answers as we get into match number 2.
Okay, Jack up 1-0 against Luckygod as Luckygod gets the first turn.
Yep, there is the combo coming out from the side of Luckygod as Gianna, she can choose who to land the bomb on. Of course, Annabelle, because she is the cleanser. Now, what he wants to do is Okeanos go for the stun or the reset. Whatever the case, he needs to lock down the Annabelle.
Oh, no, he gets 2 stuns, but it's not on the Annabelle.
Oh my god, what am I looking at, Tobra?
My.
Triple stun from this bear.
Oh my gosh, this bear is doing everything today. It looks like it's Mo Long's birthday
and
today.
the proc to top it off. Jack is saying, you know what, Luckygod, today is my day. I ain't going down that easily, as now Mo Long can follow up with some control of his own, dragging Dragons dance.
Okay, not having as much of an explosive impact as we saw before the Reckless Assault, though always reliable on that damage.
Yeah, I mean, the Reckless Assault, as you said, it's always consistent, always going to be doing the 70%. Armor breaking attack speed slow comes out. This looks devastating for Luckygod as Sierra gets the job done. Bombs land.
Wow.
Bam!
Yeah, I mean, the perfect setup there for Ciara. That's a lot of damage done, and it's just the Fortune left for Luckygod.
Oh, he's just rubbing it in with the animal sleeps at this point. Luckygod, I bet he's sitting there shaking his head right now. He knows, had he locked down the animal, that match could have been a lot different.
Yeah, well, not able to get that one stun. And Jack says, all right, you missed your opportunity. Now it's all on my side of the field. Jack trumps Luckygod 2-0. We had two 2-0s here to open the weekend off as Jack wins in his first match. He will be moving on to the winner semifinal here in the APAC preliminaries Group A for SWC 2021, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, back-to-back 2-0s. These players came in with the game plan, and it's working for one of them, not working for the other. And as I mentioned throughout the draft, though, the triple strippers, as soon as I saw that, I recognized it as a weakness for Luckygod. I mean, I know artifacts are here now, and even supports can do a lot of damage, but did he really need to pick triple strippers that early on? And I feel like Jack really capitalized on that well. He saw that his opponent lacked a lot of control. Oki was his one chance. So he brings in Anvil, probably on 100 resistance, and it gets the job done.
Well, Jack, I mean, it almost feels like in that second match, Luckygod maybe over-responded in both games, right? He kind of sees what Jack's planning. He says, whoa, 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 okay, I don't want to deal with that. But then Jack almost counter-capitalizes on those holes that he leaves opening, and Jack is able to get 2-0s. And we got to talk about the Mo Long, right? Mo Long in both matches just dominating the opponent.
Yeah, I mean, Mo Long, this is a unit we have to watch out for because, as you mentioned, it's not just about the Dragon stance. Reckless Assault is a guaranteed damage. Skill 1, it's a very consistent armor break. This unit is absolutely looking great in the meta. We have seen also the Haegang being used against this triple stripper, and that is why most players ban the Haegang. Triple despair, what are the odds?
Well, I mean, we'll have to see if that continues on in every matchup, but I have a feeling it might, Peter. I mean, we mentioned it a couple times already at the start of the day, but all the players coming into Group A, they've been mentioning a lot of the pandas, mainly the light and the water panda, but that Mo Long seems to have a big spotlight. Of course, we saw the Fire Onimusha earlier today as well, so there are some of these monsters that are taking advantage of this meta switch, and these players in Group A, they seem very well prepared for it.
Yeah, I mean, you just reminded me that we have actually not seen a single Hathor today. Oh my goodness, I am so happy to see that as we get right into the replay. This is where Nephthys, she did get her combo off, but once Zerth got banned out, there was not enough follow-up. Okeanos was not on crit damage, or at least not ruined to enough where he needed the damage to be. And Rika was able to capitalize on her surviving, gets the dots, gets the sleeves, and that is game over.
Yeah, once we had that kind of fall through in game one, it was pretty straightforward. And kind of the same story here, right? You missed that stun on the Annabelle, and Jack's just able to capitalize on it all throughout.
Yeah, and here we see, of course, Sierra just going back and forth. Mo Long going back and forth. And of course, Annabelle and Haegang were definitely there, getting some spotlights themselves, making sure they do their job as supports.
Yep, so Jack kind of winning, maybe almost off the back of these support monsters. Maybe, you know, we've been focusing on the damage, but both times it's what's able to keep that game going for him. And Jack wins 2-0 against Luckygod. Two very quick matches to kick off the weekend, but ladies and gentlemen, we have so much more Summoners War coming up even just today. Not only do we have these two matches to look at the rest of the four players here in Group A, but then we'll continue with the winners bracket. So coming up, it's going to be match 3 between MDBB and Zizung, and then it's going to be match 4 between HWAN and secondbaby.
Yeah, I am keeping an eye out for particularly the match 3 because both of these players I have not seen too much of. MDBB, he was here for previous SWCs, but I believe Jisung is the one that is a rookie into the SWC this year. I am very excited to see what type of strategies they have on each other because I'm going to be there learning along with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of refreshing to have, a couple of these new players come in, shake things up a little bit, right? Maybe they have new ideas about the game. Obviously, their monster box and their pool being maybe a little bit different from everyone else. So we'll have to keep our eye on a match 3 and 4. But ladies and gentlemen, so much more Summoners War coming in. And Peter, I mean, we finally kicked things off. How are you enjoying the start of the APAC preliminaries right now?
I mean, I'm sure everyone can tell I'm like super excited right now. I'm like,
You're
come
hyped
on,
up,
give
man.
me more matches right now. I am ready to go. I'm here to cast all day for you guys to see. Today, I fill myself up with hype.
There you go. I mean, there is a lot of hype here. I mean, there's so much on the line as well for all these players, and it's just so fun to watch. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, it's more APAC preliminaries for SWC 2021.
Wanted to bring to your attention, again, as we do every single SWC broadcast. Camilla here. You want to see a slash Ciara getting hit by Frogmove. Look at Looking to get that full team strip attack our first guy.
that Lucky did not pull the champang yet. I would have thought I would see Sierra first pick. He goes to the
Okay, here we go. Oh, Lucian, it's over. Lucian, it's 12,000.
Mr. Chung is going to be this year's SWC champion.
This is war. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'll show you who's boss. The world is now a real-time battlefield. Join the global battlefield. Summoners War, Lost Centuria. Download now.
Wanted to bring to your attention, again, as we do every single SWC broadcast.
he did not pull Changpang yet. I would have thought I would choose Sierra first pick. He goes to the
Okay, here we go. Oh, Lucian, it's over. Lucian, it's the 12,000.
This is war. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'll show you who's boss. The world is now a real-time battlefield. Join the global battlefield. Summoner's War, Lost Centuria. Download now.
Let it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is SWC 2021. We are here with the Asia Pacific preliminaries. My name is Chobra, here with Peter, and we're already done with 2 matches here in Group A this weekend, and now we're waiting for matches 3 and 4. But let's go back really briefly, Peter. I mean, in the first 2 matches, we already saw some of these kind of meta differences and new monster priorities coming out for these players here.
Yeah, I mean, there have been so many different varieties of units, as you said, but mostly the ones that are sticking out to me the most, we've already gone over through like Molong and Haegang, right? But I feel like what we haven't mentioned yet is Vertihal. This is definitely a unit that we see a lot, especially on like solo queue ladder, but so far it's not really showing to be that strong.
Yeah, I mean, we saw CHARMI picking Vertihal, but not working out very well, and then not even really being considered here for these other players. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, see if Vertihal makes a return in some of these future matches, or is he kind of forgotten here in Group A, and are they focusing on these other monsters? But ladies and gentlemen, just as a reminder, of course, this is a double elimination bracket. So no one is getting eliminated today. We're just going through the winner's bracket. If they lose today, if one of these players loses today, they will have one more chance tomorrow to make it to the APAC Cup and then hopefully eventually the World Finals, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to be looking out for, but of course, we have to stay fixated right now on the upcoming matchups. We've been taking a look through some of their player profiles, and what is something that you noticed about Jack, Chobra?
Well, I mean,
Or not Jack, but MDBB.
Oh,
sorry.
MDBB. Well, MDBB, of course, coming up here against Jisung. And MDBB, one thing that really stood out to me is a lot of these players in Group A are actually part of the same guild. So some of them have mentioned in their interviews that, it's kind of hard preparing because everyone knows each other. Everyone's keeping. But MDBB is leading that guild right now. And he said he feels pretty confident in his knowledge because he helps out a lot of his guildmates. So he's seen a variety of pools and a variety of information to work with. We'll see if he can actually execute upon that here in this match against Jisung.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely going to be a team kill, as you said. So both of these players, they want to win, but do they want to win like in the total stomp? Maybe they'll be nice, give us a 2-1. Whatever the case, I see that Jisung is saying that he expects to see a lot of Lulu in this tournament, and that was recorded before the event, and can he be any more right than that?
I mean, Lulu seems to be super high priority. If it's not paid, it's getting banned right away in Game 2 after you kind of are reminded of the terror that Lulu can bring. I mean, it looks so harmless, right? Just the Howl and her friends just sitting there floating in the air, and then you're like, I just can't do anything against this team. So you don't want to have to deal with that, but let's see. Let's take a look first at the player profiles. Kind of see what they favor here, at least coming into the weekend, and then, of course, we'll have to keep an eye on if that changes. Peter, first up, it's going to be MDBB. Once again, he is a returning player, and as we mentioned, he's been leading, and there you go. You talked about that Water Ryu, the Water Striker, earlier, and seems to be one of the favored monsters for MDBB.
Yeah, I mean, he's written that he has pulled the Dark Valkyria recently, which is Trinity. I am very familiar with this monster. However, as an ex-Trinity owner, I know this unit. If we ever see it, this guy is trolling, okay? We are not going to be seeing that unit. Trinity, please buff Trinity. I have been saying this all the time. So we're going to be seeing the other counterpart of Speed Leader Nephthys, who is, in fact, a way more consistent unit.
Okay, well, he will be going up against Jisung. And before the break, we mentioned Jisung newly coming in to this APAC preliminary, to the road for the SWC here in SWC 2021. A new challenger enters the scene, and he will be going up against MDBB.
Yeah, and he said that it was really hard for him to actually make it to this place because he's been struggling getting his points up in the solo queue ladder to even make it into this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it is a long road, right? I mean, you definitely have to work for it. So Jisung already having to go through some obstacles, but he does make it. And something that really was heartwarming in his profile is his whole family, including his in-laws, are playing Summoner's War. So everyone's enjoying it. He's just surrounded by Summoner's War players. I love that his in-laws are playing. Just something about that is
Imagine
so
you get procced on by your mother-in-law. Can't even get mad.
Oh, boy. That's a troublesome situation right there. Well, right now, Jisung doesn't have to hold back as he will be going up against MDBB here in Match 3 of Group A here for the APAC preliminaries. These players going for the crown in SWC 2021.
Yes, and both of these players like to play around runes. We know they're going to be really fast. Rune to the top tier of top tier, as we see the pre-bans, as you brought us into the match, Tianlang and Fire and Bison.
Yeah, and you know what's something that's funny? It's going to be Jisung, who actually just recently was able to pull that Light Panda out. And so MDBB says, you know what? You're not going to get to use that today. Not against me, at least not in Game 1. And we're already seeing some of these familiar priority picks that Mo Long returns once again, this time for MDBB.
Yeah, it seems like we're seeing pretty much the Sierra and Okeanos being prevalent in the meta as always. The Mo Long is kind of like the new member of that roster, so to say. So not too surprising to see those triplets picked up as we see for the first time today, Chung Pong, my boy.
Okay, he gets through and gets picked up here for Jisung alongside that Wind Beast Rider. Now back onto MDBB. What are going to be some of his responses here as we wait for his consideration? Chi Wu already being highlighted, but maybe he wants to take that back.
Yeah, I mean, 7 seconds are clicking as he's considering the Escher, making sure that he grabs the first turn. It wouldn't be too surprising to see the Escher ruined very fast. Of course, Nephthys being there, a favorite unit for MDBB. And this unit's going to bring him a second speed leader, so he's got the right comp to be outspeeding if he wants to. The only problem is he is sitting on a little too many supports right now, so his last pick is really important. It needs to round out his team comp, as Jisung also facing the same problem now. now, sitting there with no speed leader. He's got 2 picks available. He takes a Jiwoo, and the last pick is Rika.
Okay, we saw the Rika doing work earlier today in those matches. Okay.
There it is, the unit that we gotta keep an eye on. The super hard carry. Juno, this is a monster that's become super strong ever since Artifacts came out, especially. And it's going to be really strong into Rika, strong into the double wind. That is a very, very scary pick from MDBB. 20 seconds left on the ban. Both players making sure they are careful with their selection.
Yeah, there seems to have been a lot of kind of mental back and forth here already in the draft phase, Peter. It's only game 1, and these players are already on the edge of their seats trying to make sure they get a lead. And Chiwu, and it's going to be the Juno being banned out.
Yeah, I am definitely happy to see the Juno being banned. I agree with that wholeheartedly because Juno was really such a force to be reckoned with for Jisung. And now, since he doesn't need to deal with that, he just needs to survive this round 1. Coming out of MDBB, Escher grabs the first turn. There is the cry, giving attack bar over to his team. Okay, and he gets a stun onto Rika.
Well, we talked about the Rika having to be kind of locked down before, even in earlier matches, and this time it's going to happen.
Yes, very smart selection on the bomb there, making sure that Rika does not get a turn anytime soon. There's no cleanse on the side of Jisung, so at this point, he is looking for the combo. There is the Rain of Stones. Here comes the skill 3 coming out of Savannah. Armor break is going to land on every single target. Okeanos, he's got skill 2. It's going to do big damage. That is about 10k done on Sierra. Now, Chungpong grabbing the attack bar reduction. Savannah follows up now, has skill 2 up. This is going to do a lot of damage if he uses it, but he may just go for Sierra here. He is taking his time. The timer is ticking. Critical link on Mo Long.
Okay, Jisung, he had a lot of setup and he's able to carry through all the way. Can he finish things off? The Sierra is going to live for another turn.
Yeah, there is the proc out of Sierra, but of course, because she has been reset, she is not going to be effective anytime soon. However, the Escher taking up Savannah was very good for MDBB. We're taking a look at the attack bars now. Sierra is going to be moving before Oki, but not before Savannah, so she is going to get taken down into a proc from Savannah.
Okay, and that's 2 in a row taken down from Jisung. This Savannah, although she's hopped off of the beast, of course, the damage coming through for Jisung.
Yeah, at this point, things are looking grim for MDBB. He has his Escher most likely on Swift. There are no procs available to cycle through the heals. Chungpong, he's just going to be doing good damage. 3,000 as Savannah, of course. No crit is needed. 16,000 in your face, and that is going to be it for Jisung. He takes a win. Round 1 goes over to this man.
Jisung comes in as the new challenger, and he wins his first game here in the APAC preliminaries on the road for SWC 2021. 1-0 score now in favor of Jisung over MDBB, and Jisung has to feel pretty good after that game.
Yes, and that was also the first match that we have seen where Rika didn't really shine, right, as the main unit that we're looking at. But despite that, Jisung was still able to pull it back. The armor break combo and just the Savannah proccing again and again was too much to deal with.
Yeah, Jisung was able to carry things out as we're now watching the draft for game number 2. Earlier in game number 1, these were the bans you see on your screen. Of course, those will be up and up, and now it's going to be that Okeanos and Nephthys. No big surprise here among those favorite picks being taken right out in the pre-ban.
Yes, so we've seen Nephthys do a lot of work throughout the whole entire tournament. A lot of Nephthys being contested back and forth, and of course, just pre-banning it off the bat does provide some comfort to you mentally if you are Jisung. But of course, the Mo Long first pick is going to be ever so prevalent. We are seeing this unit again and again.
Yeah, MDBB doesn't even hesitate. He says, you know what, regardless of what happens, I really think Mo Long is super powerful right now, has high priority. Meanwhile, for Jisung, it's going to be the Chungpong and the Sierra coming now for Jisung.
Yeah, so we're seeing that Chungpong being a consistent theme for Jisung here. That unit has worked out great. I don't see a reason for him to change it around on the round 2, of course. But this time, there it is, the first time.
That M-Bison, the Fire M-Bison, we've seen it banned a couple times, hasn't had a chance to be picked, but MDBB snatches it right up for himself.
Right, that Chi was going to be there, of course, to deal with immunity in case there's any pesky things to deal with. At this point, MDBB does have a bit of a a mixed composition, a team that really prioritizes getting the most out of their skill threes. Whereas Jisung, we don't know too much about his draft yet. He has 5 seconds to lock it in. He is thinking of the counters. It's going through his head. Lulu, of course, is going to be an easy pickup for Jisung, comboed with the Tianlang.
Okay, that Tianlang, he picked it up recently. He was able to bring it out here in Game 2. It was pre-banned in Game 1, but Jisung surely feeling pretty happy that he gets to use this monster. Of course, that Lulu, I mean, we've talked about Lulu several times already today. So much power in terms of sustain for your team.
Yeah, I mean, this Lulu and friends is going to need some lockdown from MDBB. Jogun being able to scroll trap her out of the way. Savannah there, of course, as a strong wind nuker, going to be very effective against water units like Lulu. So I do like the picks coming out from MDBB. At this point, Jisung, he's been taking all the time he needs on the draft, as we see for the first time here today, a Chroma.
Yeah, a Chroma coming out as the last pick as an answer from Jisung against MDBB's comms, as we're now waiting for the post bans between these two players, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that both players, once again, really, these players like to take their time. Whether it's picks, bans, they want to use all the time to their usage. And we're seeing it tick down. Sierra and Jogun gets locked out.
Okay, well, this is going to be game number 2 between these two players. Jisung is currently up 1-0 here in this Group A match, the quarterfinals between Jisung and MDBB for the APAC preliminaries in SWC 2021.
Right, so we have MDBB grabbing the first turn, getting every single strip. Mo Long, you got a clear field. You have 3 skills available. Which do you choose if you're MDBB? Reckless Assault for 35,000 is going to be the choice. Now Savannah follows up with some damage of her own. Here comes the Cyclone Crusher!
My, okay. Well, a strong opening from MDBB. Of course, on the side of Jisung, that Tianlang is still hanging on by a thread for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've seen the turns come out. Nothing has died yet. She will try to get the job done. He does survive with 1 HP. Gonna be taking out Savannah. Misses a crit.
Okay, so not gonna be able to get
Jiwoo, thank God.
Wow, MDBB having to go through just 1 extra turn every time to kind of finish off these monsters, but the field has already been leveled quite a bit. And okay, it's just gonna be a quick GG out as MDBB secures that second game pretty handily.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like between these two players so far, what I'm noticing is it's been pretty textbook so far. All these games are snowballing off of the skill 3s rather than violent procs or raw damage. It's more about the debuffs and the control for these players.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Peter, on what you pointed out. And you know what? The players don't want to wait any longer. They just want to jump right into Game 3. Of course, us as casters and all you viewers out there, we love to see it going right in. And okay, so the pre-bans are going to repeat themselves from Game 1. It's going to be that Tianlang and Fire and Bison.
You know, I'm a little disappointed that Fire and Bison's gone because I really love his skill 3. It's fun. You know, when he makes the sound, like the Street Fighter sound, I love to just shout with him. It makes me feel powerful. As we see power coming out of Jisung through the Okeanos, a very solid first pick. And of course, MDBB has been opting for the Mo Long in many of these matches. The Reckless Assault is definitely a threat to deal with, as we saw being utilized against the Tianlang last game. He effectively took it out before it was able to do much trouble, and now Jisung, once again, he's going to take his time. Sierra was a heavily contested pick between these two players. We have been seeing that a lot. Lulu was also there. When you don't know what to do, just pick Lulu.
Okay, but this time I'm going to go with that Chiu and the Savannah. The Savannah also bouncing back and forth between these two players.
Yeah, I mean, the one reason where you would not take Lulu is because you want to emphasize a team where you grab the first turn and you make sure to lock your opponent out in that turn. So that is potentially what I'm seeing from Jisung here. And of course, such aggression is going to cause MDBB to bring up his shield through the Haegang. We've seen this pick, what it can do. If you let it get a turn, you have a chance to get esported. No one wants that. But Juno, also there. So MDBB really playing defensive right now.
Okay, MDBB covering his bases. Does pick up that Juno, as you mentioned, and now Jisung looks like we might have some of his answers here. Okay, it's going to be that Sierra and the Wincy Emperor.
A a little bit of a switch up in flavors as we see the Triton. This is a unit that has an incredible base speed. Usually when you pick the Triton, you are guaranteed first turn. But of course, he's picked up double speed leader. What does that mean? Jisung, he's most likely going to ban the Haegang. So does Jisung have enough to deal with the Juno? And MDBB, what is this man doing?
Oh my gosh, MDBB just throwing a curveball for everyone here as he picks his last pick. And Jisung, was he ready for this? I'm not so sure.
I am not sure either, but I love the attempt from MDBB. He knows, we know that Haegang's getting banned, and so it's now time for Trevor Showcase, baby.
Okay, MDBB. Oh, wow. Oh, well, that's even more different. I don't even know what to think about this right now, Peter.
So the thing is, I was a little concerned for Jisung. How are you going to take out the Juno? That was definitely an eyesore. So I guess what Jisung is planning is he's hoping that he won't get stunned and the attack bar pushback will not be enough anyways because his team is speed-tuned very fast. He's recognized that the Haegang was slow and Okeano's just landing out the stuns on 3 target. Sierra does have a bomb. Trevor, no!
Oh, no. Okay, well, Jisung puts the bomb onto Trevor, and that might be the end, the last time we see him here in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the bomb is not guaranteed to kill. The lower HP Trevor gets, the less damage he takes. And he's also going to be rooting for a tanky bruiser type of setup, so he could survive this, but of course, he's usually not on violent runes, so he's not getting a turn. And now Nephthys, you need to proc. Oh, that's the nerf coming in.
Oh, no, not going to happen for MDBB. Jisung might have a slight smile on his face.
Yeah, I mean, Sierra, she's got the bomb here, and it's not going to get contested unless, Haegang, it's all on you! Oh!
Oh! We had a brief moment, Peter. We had a brief moment. Oh my, this is not looking so good for MDBB here in the final match of this best of 3 between MDBB and Jisung.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the bombs are there, the attack power's getting higher. Sierra's just getting stronger and stronger. You can see she's got bomb up next turn. There are plenty of water targets for her to hit, so she can cycle through the attack bar very easily as he's thinking about what to do. Another proc!
Oh my gosh, Jisung, you're already in the lead and you're still just going so strong. And another bomb off the turn. This is all falling apart for MDBB.
Trevor!
Goodbye,
No.
Trevor. It was nice knowing you oh so briefly in that draft screen.
Yeah, he did not get a single turn. That was absolutely devastating. Haegang trying to bring something back through some stunts, but of course, at this point, it will not matter. MDBB is just dragging out his time at this point. Jisung, what a showcase from him. He was
Holy
not
cow.
taken aback by the Trevor pick. He stuck to his lineup. He knew his strategy. He lets the Haegang through because he knew that it would not cut his team still, despite the attack bar. That's really smart.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at the draft and you said, Peter, on paper, what is the ban here? Maybe it's the Haegang, but Jisung says, no, I came prepared. I know exactly how to play against this. And he throws everyone for a curve, including MDBB. Jisung wins it 2-1 here in Group A.
Including me. Speaking of a curveball, me too. I seriously thought, it was in my book. I got it taught like a textbook. 2 strippers, Haegang, oh no, what do I do, right? But now I learned he doesn't get that much attack bar. So if you're very fast, you can deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, he was just prepared for it, right? I mean, this is one of those situations where on paper, it's still kind of a safer choice. But if you have that specific preparation done and then you have an answer, it works out. And then, of course, we saw those procs coming out for Jisung as well. That just kind of cherry on top for him to really close out the game. And he will be moving on to the winner semifinals here in Group A of the APAC preliminaries for SWC 2021. But I gotta say, that was a fun way to wrap up that best of 3, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I was like semi-complaining, by saying these players were playing textbook, it's all about the skill threes, not the procs and the damage. But the last match, whoa, that was a lot of damage.
Yeah, very different, and just kind of game plans on both sides that seemed way more prepared than maybe we thought about each other's playbook. But Jisung, I mean, we gotta mention, again, a new challenger coming in. He mentioned he had, he struggled a bit bit to try to even make it into the preliminaries. He comes and he wins his first match. He's going to be riding high right now.
Yeah, that is absolutely a great point for you because out of all these players, we wouldn't be too surprised to see Jisung as one of the most nervous players, right? This is his first entry into SWC, and of course his victory for him is going to give him a lot of mental support.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to mean a lot because it's such a long road ahead as you go to challenge the world. But let's take a look at some of these highlights, Peter, between these two players.
Right, so this is round 1, and we saw Okeanos and Savannah getting their combos off, and at this point, Chungpong just added the cherry on top. Savannah had an open field, just kept proccing and doing damage, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the Savannah show halfway through that round, and Jisung, of course, took that game 1. But in game 2, MDBB answered.
Yeah, I mean, the Reckless Assault coming out for MDBB was huge. The Psycho Crusher, one of my favorite skills, came out. It didn't get enough stuns, but of course, the attack speed slow is ever so useful as well. So that was MDBB taking one back for himself, and this match was where we were all just watching the Trevor, seeing what he can do, but the control was so solid from Jisung. He knew absolutely what he was doing. The double bomb on Trevor was perfect because it made it so that there are no outliers. He took out the main threat right away, and from there, it was game over.
Yeah, I mean, just all targeted onto that Trevor and everything landing exactly as Jisung wanted, as he planned. He's going to take it 2-1 here in the quarterfinals of Group A for the APAC preliminaries, SWC 2021. Jisung will be moving on to the winner semifinals. MDBB not out of the preliminaries just yet. Of course, we will be seeing more of him tomorrow in the losers bracket. But guess what, Peter? The good news is we're not even done with the quarterfinals yet. We still got yet another quarterfinal. The final 2 players out of the pool of 8 here in Group A of the SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some big names that we got to watch out for now. secondbaby, one of your favorites, one of my favorites, one of everyone's favorites. Who doesn't love seeing a father and son show up, right?
Yep, and his opponent, of course, is going to be HWAN. And my favorite thing about HWAN is his Korean ID is taken after his favorite player globally, True Whale. It's actually literally True Whale in Korean, everyone. So
also one of my favorite players, True Whale, definitely. This guy knows what he's doing, and of course, if HWAN is learning from him through a similar box as well, Artemil, Ragdoll, Asima. The only thing I would say he's missing if he doesn't have is Pontos. Very excited to see what type of plays HWAN will be bringing us today.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to really live up to that inspirations he's had from True Whale as we're looking at his player profile. Of course, his opponent, we named him before, it's going to be up against secondbaby. Of course, the son of fourbaby, who we saw earlier, take that match against CHARMI. So listen, the father's already made it to the winner semifinals. The son's now got to answer back as well.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them sitting side by side. The dad is cheering him on. Like, hey, if you win this, 50 LD packs for you tonight, baby. He's got to be egging him on. As we see some strategy from secondbaby, we are no strangers to his Ragdoll Gianna combo. This combo is absolutely devastating, and he said that his highest win rate deck is also a comp, utilizing Gianna, grabbing the first turn.
Yes, yeah, he mentioned that kind of as being his highest win rate, his highest priority. He also mentioned that, you know, he struggled a little bit against Shogun all the time preparing for these preliminaries because, you know, the nerf didn't come out until very recently. So he was struggling against that monster a little bit. Of course, changed just recently. We'll see if it's still going to prove to be an issue for secondbaby.
Yeah, absolutely. As I know HWAN to be a player that likes to draft around countering his opponents, so we're going to be keeping an eye out on how HWAN's draft adapts as each phases play out. As we see the pre-bans, there is the Pontos and Haegang being banned out. HWAN also mentioned that one of his least favorite monsters to fight against is the Pontos. So secondbaby going to utilize that pre-ban and say, thank you, I'm going to take Ragdoll now.
Yep, that Ragdoll finally getting through and getting first picked right away by secondbaby. Now on the answering side, Lulu, no big surprise, but then we have
Kinky.
Yeah, the Kinky. I mean, oh, okay, and the Ongiyuki. I mean, these players all mentioned the Onimushas are gonna have the spotlight, and HWAN says yes, for sure they are.
Ongyoki, can you believe it? I spaced out for a second there. I thought, what?
Wait,
Mr.
what?
Juan.
What is going on in this draft? Peter, off of that last match, now we're just in this Twilight Zone where things are all being thrown out the window. It's going to be the Light Ryu. I mean, we talked a lot about the Water Ryu as a potential pick for all of these players if they have him, but the Light Ryu was not something we were expecting as a high priority, but Juan says he's got a battle plan as we see secondbaby has wrapped up his draft and we're going right ahead for Juan as well.
Now that is a flex if I've ever seen one. Juan definitely living up to his name, True Whale in Korean. As we see Ungyoki getting banned out, it is too much damage. Many players I've seen are definitely scared of that unit. As we see Juan now getting into match 1, he has a lot of attack bar boosters here. Maybe a little too many as we see him grabbing the turn. However, that is a decent amount of damage. Hadouken!
Okay, so the damage starting to add up for Juan.
Oh no, Gianna, why are you so strong? Of course, all the buffs now are gonna get stripped, gonna get stunned, and what a showing from secondbaby. This guy was not phased by the flex from his opponents. He's like, you wanna BM me? Well, I will teach you a lesson, son. One turn, you're out.
Oh my gosh, Juan. Oh my gosh. I mean, he came in with this flex. It wasn't quite able to get all the jobs that he needed right away. And secondbaby just says, oh, is that all you had? And he just stuns him right away. And the game is over instantly. Secondbaby saying, you know what? There's a reason my win rate is so good, focused around this Gianna. And he's able to carry through yet again in this game 1.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Juan really just wanted to try to cheese a win there, right? Because these type of cleave comms, something really unexpected works best usually on the round 1. That is the best timing to try these things. As we see now, Gianna and Ragnar getting pre-banned by each players respectively. And I'm pretty sure that Juan is going to go back to a more normal type of playstyle that we are accustomed to from him, as he has the first pick priority. Lulu, of course, a very strong monster.
Okay, yeah, now we're kind of calming things back down now. Of course, we might see that Ponto's being picked up. No big surprise as it was led through the pre-ban and couldn't be banned yet again.
Yeah, I mean, Molong Pontos, such a strong synergy because the invincibility makes it so that Molong, his skill 3 usually comes with the penalty of him losing HP, but of course invincibility can counter that. So now True Whale, or Juan, because I'm reading the Korean
Yeah, we're reading the Korean name.
Juan is bringing in a response of his own. He's got the stripper through Diana, and of course Cardinal, a very strong pick into many lineups.
Yeah, so going for, again, something a bit more standard that we can maybe expect here from Juan. And secondbaby is really just filling out the rest of his comp after those initial picks.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing though is that Cardinal absolutely wants a field with no immunity, but Cardinal doesn't have a strip of his own. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Pontos ban coming out of Juan as he's drafting around it so far. But of course, the Icarus Molong combo with the Okeanos, that's a lot of control going over for secondbaby on round 1. So if you're Juan, how do you reply? He fits in more bruisers, more things that are hard to take out. Patter for the first time being shown here. That is a strong monster, especially into likes of Okeanos.
Okay, so Juan seems much more prepared this time, kind of adapting to the actual draft rather than coming in with his own plan. And secondbaby, is that going to be his final pick here?
It is, and that is a pick that I did not expect to see this year as much, because Daphnis, his main weakness is the coin flip aspect. If he doesn't get the armor break, then he doesn't do as much damage. But of course, Molong Icarus being there is going to circumvent that a bit. He's going to be able to get a nuke off no matter what, given that he doesn't get locked down. As we get into match number 2, Okeanos driving first turn.
Okay, and he's going to start things off. And
it's a reset.
Yep, Juan answers back with a stun.
Yeah, that stun is definitely going to be good for him as Reckless Assault comes right off the bat. Absolutely well played by secondbaby. There's no reason to save it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the combo you talked about right between those two monsters, and he takes advantage of it right away.
Yeah, and at this point we see a very tanky Daphnis. 17,000, that's only 60% of my HP is what Daphnis says. He's got Overwhelm of Fire, lands heal block on all targets. He didn't get the reset onto the Patter, however. So Patter just gonna be able to cleanse it right off, grabbing the immunity, grabbing 2-turn provokes. Molong, you got Dragon's Dance, but the opponent is covered in immunity, so he only gets 1 stun. Now Jaeger trying to take out the Daphnis, but the Hellfire's gonna come out. 27,000!
My second baby makes it happen with the Daphnis.
That was too much damage for the Jaeger to handle as Molong just proccing after proccing. Heal coming out of Icarus. Second baby making sure he does not give up his advantage in the match right now. Skill 3 comes out. Decent damage. Daphnis. Armor break is there. 16,000. Dragon's Dance. And bam! That is it for another unit.
Wow.
And second baby. What a showing from this guy. Molong, Icarus, Daphnis. This is the best I've seen anyone utilize this.
Yeah, I mean, he opens up without hesitation with the combo to make the playing field his advantage, get the numbers advantage 4-3, and the Daphnis, of course, just being able to finish off that Jaeger. Excellent play coming out from second baby as he takes a clean 2-0 win against HWAN here in the quarterfinals of Group A for the SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries. Peter, you know, if you're HWAN, you gotta start looking back and say, okay, maybe I stretched it a little too much in that game 1, right? Maybe I flexed just a little too hard in that first game.
Hey, he did flex, and that definitely cost him the game, as you said. But I'm still always more, on the side of having fun, trying something new. What's the point of going to the same ice cream store every day? You got to try a new flavor, new store every day. That, to me, is the fun of life. So, Juan, I respect.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there is a point when there's, a huge prize pool at the World Finals. Maybe you want to go to the same ice cream store now and then. But, of course, for us, I mean, we were blessed with kind of a fun option. It didn't quite work out, but it is nice to see, right? Because if you just see the same things back and forth, that's not what the fun is here in, Summoner's War. It's about kind of countering each other and trying to bring out new strats, new comps. Unfortunately, though, doesn't work out. And second baby, I mean, off of that game 1 win, in game 2, HWAN tried to play it a bit more textbook, but second baby says, nuh-uh, I'm still prepared, and I'm going to make sure I take out your monsters before they can make anything happen.
Yeah, one of the things that second baby has mentioned is that he's had such a hard time practicing for the SWC because of Jokan.
Yeah.
He said it was too much to deal with. It got nerfed way too late. So that was one of the main things he complained about, but it came just in time for second baby. He was able to close it off, and we get the highlights of it again. HWAN, he had a plan. He wanted to nuke things with the attack buff, but it was just too many buffs, and Gianna, if you can't kill that, then you're just going to get stunned up.
Yeah, we were just waiting for that moment, and here it comes. The Gianna just... I mean, there was nothing to do really there from HWAN, and now, of course, looking at game 2.
Yeah, I mean, this was just devastating to watch if you're a fan of HWAN, and if you're a fan of second baby, oh boy, was that a clean combo. He waited for the perfect moment with the Daphnis Hellfire, and that is why we see here on the screen, he locked in a 2-0 victory against HWAN.
Yeah, so second baby moving on to the winner semifinals here for his group in the SWC 2021 APAC preliminary. So here's the bracket so far. fourbaby versus Jack will be the first semifinals. Tsung versus second baby in the second semifinals. Of course, all the 4 players that lost today in the quarterfinals, they will be waiting in the losers bracket to try to keep their tournament lives alive. They're not out of the run for SWC 2021 just yet, but it is a long road. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you thought that was it, don't you worry. We're finishing that winners bracket today. So coming up, it's going to be the semifinals. fourbaby versus Jack, Tsung versus second baby, and I just love that both fourbaby and second baby made it into the semifinals.
Yeah, and on top of that, they are not fighting each other before the finals. So if they make it through together, it is going to be a father versus son, one of the world's greatest betrayals ever recorded in history.
Top 10 betrayals here in SWC 2021. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the APAC preliminaries are just kicking off today. Of course, many more matches still waiting for us today, many more tomorrow, and of course, throughout the next couple weeks as well. We'll be here every weekend bringing you the action from the different groups. Now, I just heard a little bird telling me that we might have some events coming up here on screen, so don't go anywhere just yet. But Peter, I mean, these have been promising matches, and there we go. Oh, it's going to be our first code. It's going to be, Osowa SWC. So EOSEOWA. Osowa is like, come on over. Welcome. So
welcome.
Yeah, that in Korean, that's what it means. So that's the code for all of you watching from home. Make sure you snag that. But Peter, the day has kicked off so strong. I've been enjoying these matches so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been a blast on every single matches we've casted today. I feel like we've seen a variety of different strategies, different combos coming out between all these players. It is no longer sitting on Ganny, Hathor, Sierra, Oki. I pick Molly. I wait to sustain. None of that.
All right, of course, that's not the only event we had prepped for you, ladies and gentlemen. On August 8th, we have Summoners War Lost Centuria event coming up. It's going to be the Summoners War Lost Centuria World Showdown. So it's showtime. I mean, there's so much Summoners War in the coming weeks, of course, all culminating towards that World Finals for SWC. But in the middle, make sure you check out this one from Summoners War Lost Centuria as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly bringing you guys some Summoners War action to make sure that throughout the pandemic, you're not missing out on any of the action. Right now, here we are sitting, about to get in to the next round between the winners today. I'm feeling really excited. What is something that you are looking forward to from these players?
Well, I'm just wondering, are we going to see adaptation, right? Now that we've gotten a glimpse of what they have prepared for match day. We talked earlier about how a lot of these players are all in the same guild, so they kind of know what each other has worked on, right? What their pool might be. But, you know, you never know what someone's really going to bring out on match day. Maybe they've been kind of hiding some stuff in the last week or two. So I'm interested, now that you've seen the priority on the Mo Long, does that start to get banned out? Or, you know, the Ragdoll, does continue to be kind of that highest priority? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to wait because we're going to take a short break. When we come back, it's the winner semifinals here in Group A of the APAC preliminaries.
Wanted to bring to your attention again, as we do every single SWC broadcast. Camilla here. You're going to see a slash Ciara getting hit by frog move. Look at Looking to get that full team strip attack our first guy.
He did not pull the Changpang yet. I would have thought I would see Sierra first pick. He goes to the
Okay, here we go. Oh, Lucian, it's over. Lucian, it's the 12,000.
Mr. Chung is going to be this year's SWC champion.
This is war. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'll show you who's boss. The world is now a real-time battlefield. Join the global battlefield. Summoners War Lost Centuria. Download now.
bring to your attention again, as we do every single SWC broadcast. Camilla here. You don't see a soft Ciara getting hit by Rockmove. Look at you get that full team driven back our first guy.
He did not pull the Champang yet. would have thought I would choose Sierra first pick. He goes to the
Okay, here we go. Oh, Lucian, it's over. Lucian, it's the 12,000.
Mr. Chung is going to be this year's SWC champion.
This is war. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'll show you who's boss. The world is now a real-time battlefield. Join the global battlefield. Summoner's War, Lost Centuria. Download now.
It is time to challenge the world here as we are kicking off the SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries. Peter, we've already gone through the quarterfinals and we're now already waiting on the winner semifinals here in Group A.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hyping it up so much before break time, and now's the time to bring some hype back. As we see some of these players, we've seen their strategies right. So now the question is, the players themselves are also watching the broadcast. So what did they learn by watching the previous matches? What type of new strategies will they bring? Pre-bans, I am excited to start digging into all that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some variety here, but of course, I think kind of the big spotlight has been all these players mentioned, some of these Onimusha, some of the Panda Warriors, and we've been seeing some priority around those monsters. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be semifinals number 1. It is going to be fourbaby up first. I mean, fourbaby, he came in, and in his first match, he said, you know, I don't know, I'm not so confident I might not make it far here in the preliminaries, but he takes down CHARMI, who was 3rd last year at SWC SWC 2020. So fourbaby should be feeling pretty good prepping for the semifinal.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the main things about fourbaby, he said that he pretty much put his life and soul into rune farming. So we know he's there with all the rune sets that he needs. One of the things that was actually a struggle for him was artifacts, because he felt like it just brought this onslaught of a speed meta.
Yeah, he's one of those players that really pointed out the shift in meta, kind of giving him some trouble, maybe not something he can get as used to just yet. But on the flip side, it is an opponent that you just cannot ignore. It's going to be Jack, who also took down Luckygod in his quarterfinals quite handily 2-0.
Yeah, speaking of Jack, we know this guy. He can mix up a lot of different strategies. He can go fast. He can take second turn. He is comfortable with all of that. So if you're Jack, are you going to try bringing a lot more teams that prioritize speed when you know that fourbaby, he kind of tends to struggle against that?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, there's definitely some overlap here in priority, even just looking at the last picks that we saw in their previous matches. I mean, of course, the Lulu, we're seeing that water howl being prioritized by almost every player right now. You know, some of the more common names like Ciara and then the Mo Long, both of these players rating quite highly in their picks. We'll see if it continues to be a menace here in the winner's semifinals. Ladies and gentlemen, this is set one in this match. It is still a best of three for now in the semifinals between fourbaby and Jack.
Yup, and here we are in the familiar screen of the pre-bans. This is where we get to see just the very tip of each player's strategy. Sierra and Ragdoll getting banned out. I love the Ragdoll ban coming out, and of course Sierra ban is always fantastic because Sierra tends to be a core unit in many players' comps. Mo Long first pick, that you mentioned, Chobra. This is one of your favorite units, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just love that Mo Long. He's just so straightforward in what he brings, right? He brings out fear in that damage that he can do, and of course he's got the AoE as well. So I mean, all around kind of this bruiser that you're a little bit scared of, who can just nuke down units that you're not aware of.
Yeah, I mean, so Cardinal and Lulu was obviously the response coming out of Jack. As you said, the nukes that we are scared of, the Lulu tends to deal with very well if you do not manage to secure in the kill. And of course, we see a Fran being used. I feel like this unit was not very popular today, but it is going to be a solid pick into Cardinal, into Ganny. Jack, he doesn't have any strippers right now in his team comp, so it could be a little difficult to deal with the Fran, but he's still got plenty of time to adjust his team comp. 1 second left, and Gianna, of course, the strongest stripper in the game, arguably, is going to be so good and consistent for him.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the power of that strip that she brings, right? The strip and stun earlier just completely shuts down a game pretty much on that second turn. So we'll see if it pays off for Jack here, as we're actually going to see yet another Daphnis here today for fourbaby.
Yeah, fourbaby showing that he shares some strategies with secondbaby. The Daphnis and Mo Long was an absolute powerhouse. In fact, too much of a powerhouse that it actually just got the win. It's going to be a question to see how effective is this combo going to be together in this matchup against Jack this time with a completely different strategy. Abilio is the first time we're seeing that unit. Abilio gets attack bar when an ally monster falls below about 40% or a certain amount of HP, and he's able to cut in, provide massive healing. That is definitely an eyesore for fourbaby.
Yeah, I mean, you've got both of the Abilio and then the Lulu here on the side of Jack. So fourbaby's got a couple things he has to consider here as we're waiting for the postmans from both players. We'll see what it comes down to. It's going to be the Fran taking out, and then the Abilio as well. So what you mentioned about kind of that potential cut-in coming from Abilio going to be taken out, but of course, the sustain is still there with that Lulu.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack is sitting there with still some sustain, as you said. However, the only problem is if fourbaby gets the first turn and everything goes off, it may be too late for sustain to kick in as we get into the match. Here we have Gianna grabbing the first turn. She is going to be able to have a field that she can try to stun up. Of course, Patter is there. He is able to cleanse things if needed. The Daphnis not being on Will Runes gets the skill 3 off. Hellfire, not quite enough. Skill 3, Seal of Magic, increased cool time, reducing the attack bar. So much control going over for Jack. Now, if you're Cardinal, you don't want to be using the skill 3. It feels kind of like a waste, but if you get a proc, you may as well.
Yeah, of course, initially kind of waiting to see what would happen. You already had a couple of those stuns ready for your team, so Jack just waiting, but he gets the proc, and now we're still going back to Gianna as he has continued to get control and retain it.
Yeah, so fourbaby's composition, he was really relying on the pattern to strip and cleanse his units if they get outspent. That's why he let the Gianna through. But at this point, because the opponent was able to combo it with a very fast Ganymede, he is just running cycles after turns
Oh my gosh.
fourbaby.
Yeah, I mean, after that many turns where you're just not able to do anything, you had that one answer, and the pattern just not able to really have even a chance to attempt anything here for fourbaby. And Jack going to take the lead here, 1-0 in the winner semifinals of Group A for the APAC preliminaries.
That was very well played by Jack. He was not fazed by his opponent's strategy. He knew exactly what he was doing. He had a fast Ganny that was speed-tuned to the Gianna. He recognized that the enemy's draft was rather slow. He knew he's getting the first turn. All he needed pretty much was a strip onto pattern. He got it, and from there, game 1 got locked down. And now, game 2, different pre-bans, of course. Ragdoll Sierra available now.
Yeah, so we'll see if those get picked up right away or if there's maybe a little bit of contention around one of these monsters. I'm sure we'll see at least one of them being snagged, given just how high priority they are and how much value they've provided just time and time again in this year of Summer's War. Now, fourbaby and Jack both waiting on their pre-bans. There's some things to consider because of some of these unique monsters that we've seen from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that this is probably one of the longest pre-bans we've ever had. Both players are running the clock, making sure to double-check their strategies coming in. It wouldn't be too surprising if they already had a draft in their mind prepared, as we see some of what was in their mind, Molong and Okeanos being banned out.
Okay, so Molong gets banned out. I mean, Molong's kind of been on the board one way or the other all day today so far. The Okeanos being banned out by Jack. And now, what do you pick up? You're still going to prioritize that Lulu and friends for that sustain.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny to see each player see what they prioritize. We've seen some Lulu first picks, and we've seen some Okeanos. It's been really just all over the place.
Yeah, well, Ciara and Ragdoll still both available here for either player, but we're going to see the Ragdoll come through and then the Fran once again for fourbaby.
Yeah, it's funny that you said Ragdoll for both players because Jack is the one that cries because he doesn't have Ragdoll.
Oh,
so
you're right.
You're rubbing it in a little.
Oops,
I can see that.
I'm sorry, Jack. Please don't check the English broadcast. Please only check the Korean broadcast. I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I'm sure you can take a little flame. You got to have strong mentality coming into SWCs as we see Cardinal being picked up by Jack. Once again, this unit is a powerhouse if he gets his skills off, and that's exactly what he's trying to plan around the Fran and Patter immunity response from fourbaby. And of course, Icarus being there, she has been very popular, I feel like, throughout the tournament. Her skill 3 actually brought so much utility to the matches.
Yeah, I mean, earlier, of course, we saw the tried and true combo with Molong, but still being picked up, and now Antares being considered for Jack.
Yeah, I mean, Antares is going to be the most standard response to Diana in some situations because his passive is just such a hard counter to Diana if it goes off. So he is considering that pick, and we see a Feng Yan.
Okay, so yet another Panda Warrior making an appearance here today in Group A of the SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries as we see all the picks now finished for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, the Rika, we know this unit is such a strong unit if she goes off. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a potential Lulu ban out of fourbaby. And of course, Jack identifying that his Lulu was about to be gone. He knows the Rika's too much, and she is gone as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Rika really pulled through for fourbaby in the earlier match today, so I think it's great that Jack just going to ban that out. Doesn't want to have to deal with it. Of course, he no longer has those Lulu and friends either. As you mentioned, Peter, this is game 2 between fourbaby and Jack in the winner semifinals of Group A.
Here we go. fourbaby has an insanely fast pattern. He's just going to be able to do some damage here. He wants to be saving the skill 3 for when it is actually helpful. Cardinal does not have a strip. He can only just go for some attack bar absorptions. Now, Diana, you get a turn. Obviously, you're not going to be transforming into an Antares. So now, he's grabbing the shield. He's going to be slow playing it, really aiming to do damage piece by piece with Ragdoll, Diana, and of course Icarus, also not confident in the kill secure. She saves the skill 3 for later.
Okay, so a lot of just kind of measuring on both sides. Lots of damage onto Antares, though.
Lot indeed. That is half HP gone on Antares from one skill out of Ragdoll. Now Diana just going to be laying out the crits, trying to get whatever stun she can. Pattern, Moonlight Grace, ever so useful with all that immunity. Gets a provoke as a bonus. Fran, got a heal, not really necessary. Use it anyways. And here's the proc, meaning skill 3, already cycled.
Okay, so fourbaby looking pretty happy right now as we wait for Antares.
Yeah, I mean, the Fran being there is going to be absolutely crucial with the skill 3, because if she doesn't get contested right now with the Feng Yan, we are looking for armor break. Chop, chop, chop.
Oh, and he does get the armor break there, Fran. Just hanging on by a thread for a brief moment.
The Antares.
Oh my goodness, gets the cut in and gets the finishing blow onto Fran.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely what Jack wanted there, as Diana, continuing to be locked out of the match, only can shield because the Antares is so scary, and now Cardinal trying to proc whatever he can. There's not enough targets for him to go for, though, using the skill 2 again. He wants to be sustaining the Antares. If you are Jack right now, Patter, skill 1's not enough to kill the Antares, so do you just hit him and go for a proc? He's thinking about his options. He goes for the stun, no proc.
Okay, so no proc yet. I mean,
go.
Oh, okay. You know, we were hoping for it. Didn't quite come yet. But I mean, fourbaby just has to wait to try to take out this Antares before he can really unleash everything. Oh my!
Can the Diana crit? That is the main question. Okay, he goes for the shield instead to be safe. And now, Feng Yan, do you armor break or do you heal? It's up to Jack now. Do you give up on the Antares? He says yes, and now Diana is able to get whatever she wants to have done.
Yeah, all eyes on Diana now. Fourbaby, can he make it happen with this Diana? The attack bar just being absorbed just to keep it at bay a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Jack is starting to feel the sweat running down his back. It is getting a lot scarier now that the Diana is enabled. The immunity ever so present from the Patter. Cardinal has been not really doing anything this game, grabbing a lot of procs, but for what?
Yeah, I feel like we've seen him so often, and he's like, oh, you know, I'll observe the attack for a little bit, but not much value coming, and here we go, Diana.
Diana says, welcome to Pew Pew Town, but Feng Yan, she's trying to chop, chop, chop with the proc.
Oh my gosh, Feng Yan, is this gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean, just that little bit lacking is absolutely unfortunate. Cardinal trying to grab whatever damage, but it is not enough.
Oh my gosh, fourbaby just hanging on by a thread. There we go, Diana now finally finished off.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Patter's just rotating turns, rotating immunity. This ragdoll cannot get locked down. The Feng Yan is trying all he can, puts out the Calm Mind, healing buff and revenge buff for himself, as Cardinal going to be taken down very soon for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Cardinal's still not able to do much, right? All this immunity coming out for fourbaby. Poor Cardinal's just been sitting there, just cycling through turns, not able to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, the attack power is getting only higher and higher. Ragdoll's damage getting higher and higher as Patter is cycling the turns. At this point, Feng Yan, you want to be procky with the chops! Chop, chop, chop!
Oh, and he gets it, and the Ragdoll's out! Jack! The Feng Yan pulling through him just in the last moment!
There is what Feng Yan is there to do. He is here to be soloing, ladies and gentlemen. He is there to proc on top of an armor break. These stuns are landing back and forth.
Oh my gosh!
But Feng Yan, his damage is too strong.
Yeah, we've already seen that numbers going up.
Oh, wow, these stuns
Oh my gosh! I mean, Patter's just keeping alive all on his own. This is truly turning into this Bruiser 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Patter is trying to sustain and get the stuns, but does he have enough, right? There's a stun.
I mean,
he's going again. Oh, no
the stuns are there, but the damage just isn't for Patter and Jack.
Here we go. He's got the Moonlight Race, but he goes for the Wobblo instead because he knows he needs a proc. Stun! He needs to stun right now, unless he wants to use skill 3 for provoke. It's all up to him at this point. He goes for the safer move, goes for immunity, gets the provoke.
Oh no!
The proc!
Jack is able to close it out. 2-0. The Panda Warrior doing it for him. All the different pandas taking the spotlights in every match, Peter. And Jack will be moving on to the finals here in Group A of the SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries.
That right there is classic Summoner's War. Jack, where were you when the world needed you? This is what we wanted to see. Back-to-back stuns, back-to-back procs. That was the classic example of Bruiser versus Bruiser.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you know, there were moments during that game when we thought one player had the edge, but it just came down to those two monsters 1v1. But the Panda Warriors, I mean, the players read it correctly. They were coming into this weekend saying all the different pandas. I mean, Molong was kind of the one highlighted, but now Feng Yan says, listen, I need a little bit of that screen time too. I'm going to make it happen for Jack.
Yeah, I mean, Feng Yan really tried so hard to somehow pull the game out of the depths, and it was seeming like it was possible, but the stuns, man. Stun, and then the one turn where he really needed to land this provoke, he got it, and, I mean, the Feng Yan still won, right? Oh, gosh. I'm like,
well, I mean, because the stuns were looking dicey. I mean,
yeah.
Patter was just going at it. He was getting stunned, then proc, then stunned, then proc. And Feng Yan, I mean, even though Patter didn't quite have the damage, it was starting to look dicey. I almost wonder, he went for that safe play at the end with the Patter, and I wonder if that cost him because Feng Yan was able to get the last proc.
Yeah, that is a great point by that you made just now, because the provoke does not negate damage. He still gets hit by the skill 1, and of course the proc was enough to do that. And I feel like my soul just floated out of my body and it finally just sat back down. I didn't even know who won. All I know is that's what I want to see from Summoner's War. That's what the viewers want to see.
Yeah.
Let's see more of that.
I mean, that was a pretty intense match. And we've had some craziness earlier in the day, but it was mostly kind of these early shutdowns, right? The Gianna just completely shutting down that game earlier today. But now the Feng Yan really pulling through and says, this is Summoner's War right here. I'm bringing it back, baby. And Jack is going to already make a deep run here in Group A, but let's take a look at some of these highlights. We're going to start with Game 1, Peter.
Yeah, so this was where we saw the Daphnis grabbing the turn, but of course, the stuns out of the Cardinal was too much control, and fourbaby pretty much could not come back from this situation. As we see, Icarus now on the round 2. The early game was all about killing the Entourist, right? And of course, that proc from Entourist there was really great at taking out the Fran before it was too late. And once the Entourist went down, we were worried, man, about this Diana popping off, but that one turn where the Feng Yan managed to cut in, I believe, is where the match snowballed. Of course, this proc was a crucial part of Feng Yan's victory as well. And of course, pointed out by you, a potential misplay coming out of fourbaby there. But I can't really blame him because that was a rough position.
Sure. I mean, it's just one of those things that maybe haunts you, right, in hindsight. But you really can't blame fourbaby for that one. But Jack, you got to give all credit to this guy. He's going to win it 2-0 in this best of 3, the semifinals. He's going to be moving on, and he's going to be waiting in the winners finals here for the Group A of the APAC preliminaries. I mean, he's already made a deep run. He's just one match away now from making it to that APAC Cup.
Yeah, I mean, pretty exciting things for our players here as we prepare the next match for you guys. Don't worry, the action is not over yet. Here we have Jisung on the left side, secondbaby on the right side. We know these players are packing crazy strategies. I can't wait to start digging into some of them.
Yeah, of course, Jisung, I think maybe a lot of you at home, I mean, I know for sure myself now am very interested in how deep his tournament run goes. He's new here in SWC, making his first run in 2021. He's in this Group A for the APAC preliminaries, and he took down MDBB after a 2-1 victory. So not quite a 2-0, but he's still able to win out over MDBB, who has quite a bit of experience.
Right, 2-0 or 2-1, it doesn't matter in the end because the result is what counts, right? So I'm pretty sure that Jisung is coming in here pretty comfortable. Of course, his opponent is secondbaby, such a strong player and a scary wall to be faced up against as we take a look at some of his monsters from the previous game. Molong, Icarus, Daphnis.
Yeah, I mean, that combo was just done so beautifully. The Molong Icarus combo to start things off, and then Daphnis to come in and really secure that Game 2 against HWAN. And then in Game 1, we saw the power of his Gianna, just why he relies on that Gianna so much, why he has such a high win rate. HWAN came in with an idea, and Gianna single-handedly shuts it down.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's team comp, he's been just getting 2-0s with whatever he's played so far, for the most part. And right now, the question is Jisung having the strategy required to take down, finally, secondbaby?
Okay, well, this is going to be the second semifinals here for the APAC preliminaries. Group A, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries. We are on day 1 in the winners bracket. Semifinals number 2 between secondbaby and Jisung, waiting for the pre-bans in game number 1.
Yep, the timer is ticking, but no longer, as we see Gianna and Okeanos being banned out on each side. Both very strong units at grabbing control. So this game, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Cardinal being a contested option for the control, for the CC, everything that you may want to have, as Sierra being first picked. Pretty standard, as we see the first Vanessa, I believe, of today.
Yeah, that is going to be correct. That is going to be the first time we see that monster. Of course, Chungpung, not the first time we've seen him pretty contested earlier on in the day. You mentioned the Cardinal is going to be picked up by secondbaby right away alongside the Lulu and friends.
Yeah, so secondbaby, once again, he's just right now grabbing much of the meta picks. He is not caring too much about what his opponent has done yet, because of course there was only 2 units. So now once Jisung locks in the 2 units here, we're going to get a better idea into the type of composition that Jisung will bring, what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses. And now we see the Chiwoo Savannah, double speed leader is there. Jisung is putting a lot of emphasis on grabbing that first turn. So the response from secondbaby are 2 units that can kind of circumvent that turn 1. Vertihal there with the counter. Ragdoll there, if the opponent crits you too much, you may cut in between. So these are 2 monsters that were definitely an eyesore, but of course Tianlang negating some of that attack bar. Is that gonna be what Jisung needs for the victory?
Yeah, we'll see if it gets through. Of course, I mean, you mentioned the Vertihal earlier. Are we going to see it continue to make a return, or is it going to be forgotten? Well, secondbaby says, I'm bringing it back out alongside the Ragdoll. The Tianlang is going to be banned out, and the Vertihal going to be the ban for Jisung.
Yeah, I mean, taking out the Vertihal is definitely a safe option here, as we see. Something important to note, secondbaby has opted for the HP leader rather than speed leader. And the only time players do this is because they know they're getting round 2, and they want to survive this no matter what. He is saying, if my Cardinal survives, I'm going to return an onslaught 2 times greater than what you have given me, as we see Chungpung grabbing some control. Savannah with the follow-up. She's got the skill 3 available on a open field. He is waiting it out. Here it comes, the roar. It does not grab the attack bar reduction. The proc is there, however. Critical link. Can it do enough damage with just the speed buff? This is a moment that may snowball, and it misses a crit.
Oh, not going to be able to finish off the Lulu and friends, and able to sustain herself right back up all the way to the top.
It's like nothing ever happened.
Oh my gosh, all of that just negated single-handedly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've kind of reset back to turn 1 at this point, as we see some good damage still being landed out by Jisung. But of course, the Cardinal cutting in, he needs to stun the Savannah, and he gets a stun. 2 stuns, a proc, and he's got the attack speed slows as well.
Okay, so Cardinal finally getting a chance of glory.
That proc takes away the armor break, and at this point, things are looking grim for Jisung, because had armor break been there, he would have had a much better shot at taking out the Sierra. And of course, the proc is gonna give the bomb back over to the Sierra. And Vanessa, right now, she is locked down with that bomb. 1 more and she will die.
Okay, so a little bit of trouble here for Jisung. What can he do as we're watching just trades back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, Jisung, he wants to be proccing on the Savannah, because that is the only unit that can really hard carry him at this point. He is getting the procs, but he's a turn away from skill 3, as secondbaby looks to take out the Savannah before she can do that.
Okay, and he's going to accomplish that. Savannah now off of the beast, standing on her own 2 feet.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, what can Savannah do, right? The provoke was attempted, but it gets resisted. That, Savannah says, is what I can do. As a sleep comes out of Chiwoo, this may buy some time, but really not too much, because I would say he still wants to take out the Sierra here, right? Because Lulu and friends will sustain it up, cleanse it anyways, bomb lands, Vanessa's gone, and that is the ticket, the backup for Savannah gone.
Oh, wow, and then just taking out Savannah as well right off of it. So secondbaby coming out with a strong win here in their first game of this semifinals.
Secondbaby, when are we gonna see this guy lose, right? He's just so good, man. Secondbaby doing secondbaby things is pretty much what we witnessed in this round here. And now if you are Jisung, you've came back from a deficit before. You know what it's like to play it when your back is against the wall. You gotta think of a strategy.
Yeah, I mean, Jisung, we saw some ideas earlier as we jump right into game number 2 between these 2 players. It's a best of 3 here in the Group A winners semifinals. And there we go, the pre-bans coming out. It's going to be Neftis and Chiwoo.
Yeah, I mean, we see a different pre-ban, of course, and we get a little bit of look into their heads, what they are scared of. Second baby, taking out the Chiwoo means Jisung, of course, given that he went with such a speedy comp in round 1, he's trying to put some dent into that as we see Oki, Sierra, Gianna being traded amongst each other. Sierra, Gianna, we know this combo to be always great, always strong.
Yeah, and second baby is going to be super happy to be able to pick that up for himself. Of course, just also comps revolving around Gianna, his highest win rate. So I think he's sitting pretty comfortably.
Now that is a pick I like to see a lot more out of Jisung, because I was about to say last match, the Vanessa was just too much of a dead weight. It was just not really synergetic with the comp in a sense that Savannah alone was not enough. Jisung really could have used an additional AoE damage / control, right? And Samath brings a bit of both in that department. So it is a different draft as we see Ragdoll and Pontos, very scary monsters for Jisung.
Yeah, I mean, second baby, just all 4 picks so far, individually scary and then all together. And Jisung changing things up a little bit further is going to go for that Juno and then the Light Panda Warrior as well.
To be honest, I love the switch up out of Jisung here instead of committing to a team that is incredibly weak if you don't get the lockdown on turn 1 by bringing in stronger units throughout the whole game, like Juno, Ditian Lang. That is a perfect way to respond when you feel like your opponent's draft is too much of a counter to your team. So now, at this point, the bans are of course going to be absolutely crucial. Molly being banned means there's no more sustain for second baby. Tianlang being banned does mean that Ragdoll's passive will be even more useful.
Okay, so we'll see how that pans out for these two players. It is second baby up 1-0 in the semifinals. It's a best of 3. So second baby 1 win away from making it to the winners finals of Group A.
Yeah, I mean, Jisung right now, he is sitting on a turn 1. Triton with the strip, misses onto the Gianna. And Gianna now just going to be able to go for the skill 3. Lands only 1 stun. Now Pontos, if he goes for the Holy Grounds, Juno has strip available. That's why he is considering, he is taking his time to think. I do like the silence a lot more. It misses on Oki, so he's going to now place the bomb and lock him down.
Okay, so still has an answer prepared from that Ciara.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Juno trying to grab whatever control she can. Of course, she's not going to be using the skill 2 when Ponto saves skill 3. These players are putting a bit of a mind game as we see a fantastic stun coming out of Samath.
Okay, so Jisung with the answers of his own.
Oh, that Sierra proc is hard though.
Oh, Sierra.
Silence, punch it back, put it right back into his face, Jisung. Show him what revenge is like as a 2-turn silence connects.
There you go, right back in his face as you mentioned. And Juno just waiting on her turn here.
Yeah, I mean, Juno's trying what she can to take out the Sierra, but Juno, she is a unit that relies on the timer. She needs some time as Okeanos goes down. Of course, he's gonna punch her right back, take it back. They're just playing like, you know,
yeah, they're just playing hot potato with the silence there, bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, Gianna's just grabbing more bomb control onto the Triton. He's not going to try to pass it back because he recognizes that the silence is potentially more useful here. Juno, she needs to be killing the Sierra because Sierra and Ragdoll are the 2 main threats to her, and if she can take them out somehow, there could be a chance, especially when paired with the Samath.
Yep, Juno doing her best. Sierra is just a step away from being taken out of this game.
Juno is taking time to think about what he actually wants to do. Gets a stun. That may be what he wanted. He didn't want to see the Holy Grounds come out as a skill 1. Going on Juno, smart targeting from second baby. I do feel, though, that once the Ragdoll gets a move, this Juno could die if Ragdoll has Torrent, so we need to be on the lookout for that. At that point, it would be a Samath 1v4. As I see Jisung, I'm pretty sure we're thinking along the same lines right now. He is setting up a Samath passive, coming back, killing everything, but he's got to try to stun the Pontos.
Oh, not gonna happen. We are gonna see the Ciara take it out, but as you mentioned, the Ragdoll is gonna finish off Juno as well, and oh boy.
At this point, the strategy no longer works. Of course, when your opponent is protected by invincibility, what a clean fashion. Takes another 2-0 victory. Second baby, who can take him down?
Man, you know, for a second I was wondering if we will see that kind of big boom come out from Samantha, but unfortunately not going to happen. So second baby will be winning it clean. 2-0 again. I mean, Peter, you mentioned it. Who's going to take him down? We'll have to see. Does he get taken down in the winners finals as he just cruises on through? He is now one match away from securing a spot going to the APAC Cup. And, you know, fourbaby, his father didn't make it to the finals, but second baby says, don't worry, Dad. I got you. I'll represent our family here.
Yeah, I mean, so we're not going to see that vengeance that we talked about earlier, the betrayal between the family. But it is going to be now. Both father and son on the same side. They are rooting for each other to take the victory. And of course, the other player, they have tons of fans supporting them, rooting on them to win as well.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side, of course, it was Jack earlier who took down fourbaby. So, I mean, Jack coming out with some nice drafts we've seen so far. He has some good ideas. I think this winners finals could be pretty promising. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, the next match coming up between these two winners is going to be a best of 5 as it decides who gets to move on from these groups. So, as we've implemented these best of 5s in the decider matches. So, we're already getting a bit more Summoners War, and that means there's still another match waiting for us today. And we've kicked off with some very hype matches, Peter.
Indeed. Best of 5s, as you mentioned. We're getting to our favorite part now. But before we even got to it, as you said, there were so many fun matches. And in this game specifically, there are definitely some gimmicks that we are going to have to point out for the viewers who don't understand what exactly was a snowball point. Don't worry. We're here to explain it all.
Yeah, of course, we will be taking a look at the replays here in that last match. And I think, especially with second baby's game so far, these have been pretty crucial, right? Because he just seems to have the right answers to everything. He just seems so well prepared, so calm and collected. He's just able to shut things down entirely, not even give a chance for really any dragging out to happen from the opponents.
Yeah, that is a great point by you, Chobra. I like how you pointed out his strength in the drafts. I definitely agree, because not only is he great at countering the opponent, he's great at continuing his strategy as he knows what he's doing, as we see in Game 1. Savannah missed a crit, and that allowed Lulu to heal back up to full HP. And at that point, once Jisung failed to take out Lulu, I feel like his comp was just so much weaker. And second baby took a pretty straightforward win. But now this is the match where I feel like it was so close. It was anybody's game. As we see, Okeanos, he's the first one to take the blows from second baby. He goes down early on, and we see a 4v2 here, and this is where Juno, imagine if she had landed a stun.
Oh my
We could
gosh.
have landed in a different universe.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been very different, right? You called it. You could tell what Jisung was thinking, what his game plan was to try to bring it back. But unfortunately, that stun not hitting is all that they wrote, as we see second baby taking the win, 2-0. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the bracket so far. Now again, this is just the winner's bracket. Of course, all the players still have a second chance in the loser's bracket. But for today, what we have left coming up is going to be the winner's finals between Jack and second baby, a best of 5 already here in the regional preliminaries. This is the SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries. We're only on Group A. We're only on day 1. We already get a best of 5. We are super happy with how much Summoners War we're getting today.
Yeah, and speaking of Summoners War, we can't forget about the strategies behind this game. And I'm going to be talking about Jack soon as we come back with more Summoners War for you guys. We'll be back soon with a commercial break, but don't go anywhere because it won't take too long.
Fire stole away. I know one day we'll come back around. The future is now.
Wanted to bring to your attention again, as we do every single SWC broadcast. Camilla here. You want to see a soft Ciara getting hit by Frogmove. Look at We're going to get that full team strip attack our first guy.
He did not pull the Changpang yet. I would have thought I would see Sierra first pick. He goes to the
Okay, here we go.
This is war. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'll show you who's boss. The world is now a real-time battlefield. Join the global battlefield. Summoner's War, Lost Centuria. Download now.
Wanted to bring to your attention again, as we do every single SWC broadcast. Camilla here. You're gonna see a soft Ciara getting hit by Croc Move. Looking to get that full team strip attack our first guy.
He did not pull the Champang yet. I would have thought I would see Sierra first pick. He goes to the
Okay, here we go. Oh, Lucian, it's over. Lucian, it's the 12,000th pick.
Mr. Chung is going to be this year's SWC champion.
This is war. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'll show you who's boss. The world is now a real-time battlefield. Join the global battlefield. Summoner's War, Lost Centuria. Download now.
SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries continues as these players look to challenge the world here in Group A. We are now down to the winners finals. We're already going to know one of these players who's going to have a chance to move on out of this group, Peter. And now it's best of 5 time.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we don't have like best of 3 and the best of 3, as you said. It's just going to be best of 5 all the way till the end. So it's going to be all about secondbaby and Jack. Those two are our main focus. And at this point, we got to see a bunch of strategies coming out from both players. So we have a bit of an idea on what type of players they are. But in the finals, do they have something even hidden more?
I mean, you have to if you really want to go deep in your tournament run, right? And for these players, obviously, right now, today, we're here with the APAC preliminaries, but this goes all the way, if you want to make it as far as you can, to the World Finals, of course, getting onto that stage for the crown. So there's a lot on the line. Now, as you mentioned, we've already had a chance to look at kind of this diversity coming out of both players. Well, let's see what they will bring out. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be the winners finals between Jack and secondbaby here for Group A of the SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries. Let's take a look at Jack's profile first.
Yeah, Jack, we got to see, of course, the most iconic game of today, arguably. We know this guy likes to bring whatever just fits the situation. Entourage is no problem for him. Feng Yan, also this guy is not scared to fit it in whenever he sees an opportunity.
Yeah, that Feng Yan was the hero of that second game against fourbaby. Now Jack 2-0ing both of his matches so far. He's sitting here waiting for the winners finals. And you can already tell from here kind of what the priorities we've seen. I think Jack's profile kind of summarizes overall what we've seen today, right? A lot of priority on that Mo Long, and therefore maybe Icarus getting a little bit more spotlight as well. And then we have Lulu, of course, a high priority pick and ban between all the players we've seen today.
Right, and we also get to see a bit of the pre-bans. Mo Long that we've been mentioning so many times today. Jack definitely puts a lot of respect on that monster, and I'm sure secondbaby will as well, as we get ready to wrap up the finals of Group A preliminaries. Secondbaby on your right and Jack on the other side. Right now, we're going to be taking a look at secondbaby, and we see these monsters. We've seen him pick Gianna and Ragdoll over and over again. Sierra there as a fantastic combo to most units he brings out. Pontos, also great.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like secondbaby, right, what he relies on might be a bit more common in textbook, but anytime that's taken away, right, if we see the bans coming out for the Gianna, he's still able to adapt and make sure that he has the counters ready to secure his win. I mean, out of his matches so far, they've been very dominant 2-0s, right? Not many questions remaining for secondbaby. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a best of 5 between these two players in the winners finals of Group A here in the APAC preliminaries. Who will take the lead in game number 1, secondbaby versus Jack?
Indeed. Now is the real time. I baited you guys there. Although we're cutting into secondbaby's profile. I guess I'm just too excited right now.
Listen, we got to ride the hype as we see the pre-bans, Peter, and it's going to be Ragdoll and Gianna. No big surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, Gianna, Ragdoll, these are flashy units that most of the time we are feeling much more comfortable with if they are not available. Jack, he's got the first pick priority, and I cannot emphasize how important this is seeming in the meta so far, because there are so many power picks and you can secure one of them so that your opponent cannot get it. And Jack smartly identifies Sierra being a huge part of secondbaby's winning strategy.
Yep, and then we're going to see the Cardinal and Lulu again, two kind of more safe picks that have always been responding. And on the side of Jack, we're going to see yet another monster we haven't seen all day today.
Yeah, I mean, Yun Hong is the original combo to the Mo Long. They do synergize pretty well, so I'm very excited to see this Yun Hong combo coming out. As you mentioned, Pontos Diana on the other side, secondbaby, once again, going for that trusty Diana pick. It has done a lot of work for him so far. Of course, Jack, the last time when he was faced up against this situation, the Entourage bought him so much time in the early game, and now how much will it do this game?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. That Antares is going to be so pesky against that Diana. So we'll see also secondbaby. Maybe how does he respond? Does he have something different as Jack going to wrap up his picks?
Yeah, I mean, the Anival, we've also seen this unit earlier. It is most likely ruined on maximum resistance, and it can get a lot of work done. But the thing is, if you look at Jack's lineup, the only strippers he has are Molong and Yeonhong, which are both not very consistent into Pontos, right? And Sierra absolutely relies on no immunity as well as Anvil, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see either a ban on Pontos or Lulu, because letting both through with so little strippers is usually not recommended.
Okay, well, secondbaby going to wrap things up with the Wind Monkey King, and Yeonhong going to be the ban, and Diana being banned out.
Okay, then, so there is no strip into both Pontos and Lulu. I guess Jack is really trusting in the Molong more than I did.
That seems very, very confident. We'll see if it pays off for him. I mean, we've seen some risk before, but ladies and gentlemen, this is game 1 of the winners finals between Jack and secondbaby.
Holy ground, there's 2 buffs, but if Molong strips now, what if Lulu cuts in between? Because if we look at the attack bar, that is exactly what Lulu is going to do. But he does it anyways, gets some invincibility off. So now Lulu doesn't really need to do anything here. He's just going to use skill 1, buy some time. Cardinal, he can go for a skill 1 provoke. Not going to connect. Sing Ja, Wind Monkey Wand, no armor break, so the proc will not do much.
Yeah, so neither player really getting everything they want just yet. It's going to be a bit of a slow start here for game 1 between these 2 players.
However, the proc does mean the immunity is gone. So now this is finally the chance for Jack to deal with the opponent not having immunity as he thinks about detonating. He obviously should, because if not, Lulu will just cleanse it. And of course, secondbaby, so many cleanse, so many immunity. It's just going to come back right up here. Remove plus healed. Being used instead of the skill 2 does mean that immunity is not going to be applied. Cardinal has an open field on the other side. Skill 3, this is the skill I love to see. As we wait on the timer, he decides he got the attack bar control. He doesn't need to use it even.
Okay, so just trying to remain ahead in terms of that control. We'll see if that pays off for him in the long run.
Yeah, very smart from secondbaby there, reading into the attack bars really cleverly as we see another resistance from Singja. Now, the Cardinal finally got a skill 3 off, but the Anvil is not getting debuffed.
Oh man, just nothing really hitting all to the maximum effect that you need.
Stun is connecting on 2 units. That is a huge swing for Jack here, on top of the animal being there. If you're Singja right now, you want to be... he doesn't even know yet. Molong was the one he wanted to stun to avoid the reckless, but it's going to come out anyways.
And he's going to be able to burn him down all the way down to the last bit of health. And Tars is going to finish the job. And Jack now with a numbers advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised to see that Jack, with his Anvil there, just able to cleanse whatever the Cardinal can do, so he can just simply wait out all the immunity from his opponents. And surprisingly, this strategy was so effective.
Yeah, I mean, we were questioning whether it's going to be okay against all this kind of sustained immunity, but Jack pulls it off, and he's going to come in with a strong win in game 1. He had a plan. We weren't sure if it was going to be solid enough, but he was so confident, and he takes a 1-0 lead against secondbaby here in the winners finals of Group A.
Absolutely, that was a very clean victory for Jack, and he is going to lead, as you said, the best of 5s, and of course, starting off with the win is going to help you out huge with the mental aspect, so I'm sure Jack is feeling a lot more comfortable now than before. As we get into the new pre-bans, Gianna Ragdoll is going to be available. Pontos, of course, such a strong unit, better to not deal with it when you can.
Yeah, now that he has a choice, obviously you can't repeat your ban, so he says Pontos is out of the pool. On the side of secondbaby, it's going to be the Water Art Master going to be banned out. We've seen some contention on that earlier, but no big surprise. Secondbaby says, well, Gianna's open now, so I'm going to snag her right up as my first pick.
Yeah, I mean, we know Gianna is also a go-to favorite for Jack, so we know why secondbaby had to take that first. But of course, when he does that, Jack can now take away the Sierra to block the pair from being formed, as we see Ganya and Okeanos, a more typical response in the direction of a CC coming out of secondbaby.
Okay, so maybe things calming down just a little bit. Of course, Jack, we've seen him kind of subvert the expectations before as the drafts move on. He's
Molong and Hong.
Okay, so just going for that combo as he's shown us before in Game 1's draft.
Yeah, I mean, this combo did get blocked, so to say, by banning out the Yeonang in the previous game. So I wonder, if you're a second baby right now, are you really scared of this combo enough that you'll ban it again? Or will he need to switch it around, given that his team comp is much different from any of his previous ones? We've seen as of recent a complete focus onto the Nephthys, Gianna, Okeanos, Jogan, and Ganymede. We've seen this from him earlier with Xerath instead, and that was where it didn't work out, right? So if you're second baby, do you feel confident going in after that loss earlier?
Okay, well, we'll see as Jack has rounded it out with the Water Mermaid for himself as well. Will Jack be able to keep the lead? Now, this is a best of 5, so it's still not over even after this game should Jack win.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting the exact same comp for second baby that he had earlier when he lost. This was the team comp, but the Okeanos didn't have enough damage follow-up, and the opponent was able to come back, as that is what we are taking a look at once again. Jack with the shield, he's got the Lulu there, he's got the Tetra there, he is trying to survive whatever he can. Jogan with the scroll trap takes out the Tetra so that there is no debuffs getting cleansed. Attack buff also getting connected. Spear of Devastation resets the Lulu this time, so Okeanos being very consistent thus far. Nephthys, of course, is always going to be landing her debuffs. Skill 2, Curse the Beautiful, gets a nice setup, and Jack doesn't proc.
Oh man, second baby has all the setup he wanted early on in this game too, trying to make a comeback here as he's down 0-1.
Oh! Stuns both water and does such good damage.
Oh
These
my.
things are looking so different for second baby now than the first round. So the difference is, in the first time that second baby attempted this, the Rika was there to try to turn it around. But Mo Long is a much weaker solo carry than Rika. So if you're Jack right now, I'm sure he's sitting there not too confident. He needs the armor breaks to stick. That is his only shot.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like he has too many options. I mean, it's all pretty straightforward. He is going to get the guard break on.
Oh, that proc is going to be able to cleanse the bomb, as you were saying, putting the guard on, right? And he is trying to make full usage out of the armor break. 6,000 into a proc is going to add up to 10,000. The Gianna is down to about 40% HP. Mo Long, if he gets some skills up, he could very well kill her soon.
Yeah, I mean, all eyes on Mo Long right now. Can he make it happen?
There's the armor break landing again, but no proc. And of course, because Mo Long has been reset so many times, he does not have any skills up anytime soon. As Tetra, trying to buy time with whatever sustain, whatever shields that she can. She protects herself. Very smart choice. And now second baby, as a response, shifts focus onto the Mo Long as the armor breaks come out. There's the Okeanos Rain of Stones, attack buff, armor break, and it's going to do a lot of damage. Not quite enough. Gianna, she's gonna get it.
Yep, should be okay. Going to put the bomb onto the Lulu, and that's just enough of a signal there as we were going to see the finishers come out for second baby. So second baby doesn't back down after game 1. He's going to bring it back to a 1-1 tie. We already have a series on our hands here in the winners finals in this best of 5 between Jack and second baby.
Yeah, I mean, second baby, we've known this guy to be strong, obviously, because he's been winning everything on 2-0s. But second baby proving right now that even on the back of a loss, he does not falter. This guy has the mental strength of an iron wall.
Yeah, I mean, he seems so calm, and something I'm noticing is already just in the winners finals, we're seeing both players take a lot more consideration, right? Making sure that they're making the best choices they can in any given moment, not rushing to any decisions. Now we are in game 3 with the draft. Of course, now the pre-bans can return from game 1, and they will. The Ragdoll and Gianna being taken out by the same players once again.
Right, so we've seen this in round 1, just as you pointed out. And in the round 1, when these pre-bans were made, it seemed like Jack knew exactly what he was doing and was able to take a victory over second baby. So now the question is, will the same pattern repeat or will it not? As we see Ganny, Oki, Sierra being traded, a lot of CC picks being prioritized early on.
Yeah, so this time remaining with the Oki and Ganny rather than trying to go for the Cardinal or the Lulu as he did in round 1. Second baby sticking with what worked in round 2 in that second game that tied him up 1-1 against Jack. What will Jack's response be here? He's running the clock down just a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Jack definitely taking the time to think. As you pointed out, Yeonhung is there for him again. This monster has never gotten to see the light of day. It's been getting banned out every time. But so far, there's no Molong pair, so we do not know what will happen to the draft as of yet. We know Pontos is a very strong combo to Gani Oki. Chongpong just complements those trio even better. So does Jogun. This whole family, we are used to seeing them together.
Yeah, so second baby sticking with what's been working. Now Jack, is he going to switch things up? He's considering the Haegang.
Yeah, I mean, Juno definitely an awesome pick into these type of lineups, because if you are the Juno, then you could potentially consider banning out the last pick from second baby if it poses too much of a threat to Juno. And now the Haegang pick, though, we've seen this pick work out great earlier ones when it landed a bunch of stuns, and the other one not so great because there was not enough attack bar gain from Haegang's passive. So the question is, how will that fare off here against Jogun as Diana, once again, second baby's go-to pick, gets banned out. Juno gets banned out. On the other side, the main threats are out. Yeonhung, this is your time to shine. The first time we are seeing her today.
Yeah, I mean, after all those times that she just gets taken right back out after the draft, Yeonhung is going to make it through, makes her debut here for Group A in the APAC preliminaries of SWC 2021. We are in game number 3 between Jack and second baby, tied 1-1.
Yeah, so one interesting thing to note is that the resistance leader was what Jack opted for. He did not mind the first turn. He knows he can't grab that. He's trying to play the second turn, getting the strengths out of Lulu and French, which shines at getting the second turn. So now, here we see the Jogun actually not going for skill 3 because he felt like this Haegang would cut in this time. So Okeanos, you gotta reset something. Spear of Devastation connects, not connects onto Sierra. It's getting missed. Means also now Gani can't really do much.
Yeah, so not able to really continue the advantage he had with that first turn.
I mean, at this point, Pontos, he had a chance to put up immunity, but he realized that the Haegang with the strip could make it all useless, so he saved it for the time being. He knows he can take a bomb out of Sierra. As Sierra goes for the one that can cleanse everything, of course, getting some attack bar control. Jogun tried to push it back, but he could not. So Sierra, you get a turn, you go for the detonation, you get a stun, and this Okeanos is just seeming so weak this game.
Yeah, not able to do much. I mean, initially that spear not connecting, and that kind of domino starts to fall apart.
Yeah, the proc coming out at a time when he most needed it, because Pontos cleansed the debuffs on himself, and Jogun and Gani, there are 3-turn immunity available. Of course, Yeonhung being locked out of the Skull Trap now, she is able to go for skill 2, gets the invincibility off. It could be good enough as Sierra procs, trying to take out Pontos before the Gani ventilate.
Okay, so Pontos just living on by a sliver.
A sliver indeed, as Jogun trying to grab some more control that he can. Okeanos follows up with the stun, misses onto Lulu and friends. This silence does not land as well. The resistance leader from Yeonhung is kicking in full time. Second skill cleanse is available. Yeonhung gets cleansed. Yeonhung can also boost the attack bar of any unit she so chooses. Gani reset gets landed onto Lulu, but the CC chain is not seeming too strong as the Yeonhung gets resistance again.
Oh, that resistance is paying off so much for Jack as he's able to keep everyone alive and just fight back. The Pontos finally gets taken out by Jack, and a numbers advantage now for Jack against second baby.
The resistance, man, was everything in this game. Jack knew that second baby was bringing a team comp that really needed to land their stuff. So if you have a 48% resist leader, that is how you counter second baby's team comp. Jack takes game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, every time, Peter, you were calling out this needs to happen, the resist was there. Jack was ready. He had that wall put up, and he said, no, 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 I will not fall to this. I will not be controlled for the entirety of the game. And he's able to take the lead right back 2-1 against second baby here in this best of 5 for the Group A finals here, the APAC preliminaries.
Yeah, I mean, things are just going back and forth, man. These players are taking win after win on each other. So now, what I pointed out earlier was that Jack seemed to be getting a lot of victories when he can ban Ragdoll and Gianna, and he has proven that, right? Every time this pre-ban happened, Jack has won. Now we're getting to a pre-ban that second baby has been doing and also been winning off of. So definitely a lot on the line here for Jack. I'm sure he is feeling nervous. If you're Jack, you want to be taking the game, the whole entire tournament off this match. But can he do it? What type of strategy will he bring as the players take their time for the pre-bans? Sierra Neftis on each side.
Okay, so we're going to see a bit of a shift here as we get into game number 4. It's Jack versus secondbaby. Jack is leading 2-1 in the winners finals of Group A. You win here, you get to secure a spot moving out of this group towards the APAC Cup. The Gianna being first picked, no big surprise yet again for secondbaby. He's able to kind of plug and play any type of comp around that Gianna.
Yeah, I mean, every time that secondbaby has gotten Gianna, he has just seemed so strong with it, knowing exactly how to use that monster, knows what to pair it with, as Jack going for a water heavy, a very defensive approach to this Gianna pick.
Okay, so Jack kind of sticking with the high priority monsters of the day, the Mo Long and Lulu. Of course, still a lot of variation can be coming out. Will we see some of those combos we saw earlier with the Mo Long? Will the Yun Hong continue to make a return on the board here for Jack? Those are the big questions that a lot of us have. As secondbaby, he's going to continue with what has worked so far for him. Okeanos and Ganymede being locked in yet again.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. As you said, secondbaby is returning to the strategy again and again. He feels like CC is his game-winning ticket, whereas Jack, we know that he saved Yun Hong all the way till he got to the finals. So will he pick it again is the question. It is not being picked at the moment. Haegang being prioritized along with Cardinal.
Okay, so still not sure the Yun Hong just yet. There might be a chance in that last pick. We'll see if Jack's just saving it to make sure he knows exactly what secondbaby is preparing. That Pontos being highlighted for secondbaby. I mean, of course, a very, very strong monster and was able to keep things going for quite some time before finally dying out in that last game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you're making some really good analysis on these monsters here as we see Pontos and Chungpong to be the finalized units for secondbaby. These units do complement each other well within the team comp. And Jack, as you said, he is playing a lot of shield, defending. This is actually the first time that we see a Leo being picked.
Yeah, okay, so we've seen some of the other Dragon Knight brothers coming out earlier. Of course, Ragdoll has made many appearances on the ban board right there. But okay, so Leo coming out for Jack, so something different yet again for Jack as these pre-bans have shifted once again in Game 4.
Yeah, and we see the bans coming out. It is getting locked down on Haegang and Gianna. Gianna being banned out does mean there is now a lot less damage on the side of secondbaby. Jack, this could be the match that takes him all the way to the Trophy Cup. And he has Leo, of course, grabbing the first turn with the passive, potentially pushing back Okeanos' glances. But we get to see a bit into the into the Leo. It is Ruined Unviolent, pushes back the attack bar the second time around as we see Pontos grabbing the sustain, nobility, immunity, invincibility. Ganymede with the reset does mean there's no reckless. Things are looking pretty good for secondbaby.
Yeah, secondbaby just taking it step by step here in the beginning of Game 4 as Lulu and friends will be able to put up her own immunity on the side of Jack.
Yeah, I mean, the one problem though is that secondbaby, you got the protection from the invincibility, but you do not have any heals. So how are you going to deal with the combo of healing from Lulu and a very tanky Leo, right? As we see Chongpeng barely making a scratch on it.
Yeah, I mean, he literally just kind of brushed over his face with his paintbrush right there, not doing much against him. The silence is coming out, but we're still taking things kind of turn by turn as this might turn into a war of attrition.
Yeah, I mean, everything is very, very tanky right now. Secondbaby getting armor broken does mean there's a lot more damage now. Lulu, she can go for a cleanse. She can try to do a little bit of damage with skill 1. The choice is up to Jack as he goes for the heal here, protecting himself, giving the immunity, but of course the proc out of it means Okeanos has an open field. Rain of Stones does not connect onto the Lulu.
Oh man, not able to lock down that Lulu means the sustain still up for Jack.
Yeah, and right now, with the Chungpeng control coming in, Pontos can just put up the cleanse again and protect everything. Just one problem that secondbaby seems to be having is he's moved so many turns, but for what? What has he done?
Yeah, he's protecting and he's protecting. Okay.
This is his moment. Armor break is there. Lulu did not have cleanse. Yanni could really use a proc right now. He's going to be able to use Seal Magic, potentially do some decent damage onto armor break here. He seemed to be wanting taking out the Lulu and friends first, but he goes for the refresh first. Ventilate means Rain of Stones is going to come out. It does not land on Lulu again.
Okay, so while the sounds there, the stun not connecting onto Lulu, just ever so close for that Oki.
Yeah, and the attack bar reduction out of Leo was crucial because it gave Jack a moment where Lulu could have tried to proc out and get some things done, but unfortunately that did not work out. Ganymede with the Seal of Magic gets some more control over to second baby. Chungpong, no proc, means he's got to wait for next turn to do the skills. Same thing for Pontos. This is the most exposed that second baby has ever been.
Oh man, this is a dangerous moment for second baby. As you've mentioned, Jack, can he take advantage of it?
I mean, Leo, you can't really torrent for ignore defense, so you just gotta rely on the extra added bonus damage part of his passive. As we see now, Cardinal, he maybe if he proc there, that could have been great, but things did not happen that way for Jack. As we see Pontos, now he does have Holy Grounds up. Second baby is starting to cycle through his cool times again. Okeanos, skill 3 available next turn, as second baby looking really strong right now.
Yep, he's back in that protected phase, of course, as he cycled through, as you mentioned, Peter. And Jack, can he finish anything off? No, not anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, Jack at this point, he could not make full usage out of the opportunity he had earlier. And at this point, he is trying what he can to also now buy time for himself. As Chungpong, he's got skill 3 available, gets the control down on everything. Now Pontos, he can just go for Holy Grounds, make sure there's nothing happening to his units, keep them all protected. Okeanos, Rain of Stones is there for the damage, for the control, but of course he does not need the control when the silence is there. So he waits a turn, smart move, I love it. As Ganny, skill 3 available next turn, there's the armor break setup. This is what the Okeanos has been waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, we said there wasn't much happening beginning for second baby, but now that he's seen the openings, he's playing so calculated.
Rain of Stones, damage is being landed.
And he gets the stuns too.
Yeah, as you said, the stuns coming out is absolutely huge as Seal Magic takes out Lulu and Jack concedes to second baby.
Second baby just waiting for that perfect moment, and while in the beginning we weren't seeing the Rain of Stones work out all in the best capabilities, in the final moments is where it counts. As you called it out, Peter, second baby was just waiting for that one window.
One window indeed. That was the point of that whole match. Both players trying to find that window out, the window of opportunity, where they can try to take out a crucial monster on the other side. But second baby was the one who was able to better utilize that window. And now we are sitting here on a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, 2-2 tied up down to the last game, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the winners finals of SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries. We're watching Group A between Jack and second baby. It comes down to this last game.
Gianna and Ragdoll.
Yep, there you go. The bans are going to return, and if history repeats itself, Jack has felt pretty comfortable when these pre-bans have come out.
Yeah, the question is, can he do it a third time? You know, there's a saying like, you tricked me once, fine. You tricked me twice, happens. Third does not happen. That's what second baby needs to utilize here. That phrase exactly, as Sierra being first picked by Jack. That is definitely a strong pick. As we see Cardinal, this is a unit that usually prefers to be getting the second turn. As we see Lulu, who also prefers the second turn. A good team comp analysis by second baby here.
Yeah, second baby returning to a similar opening for the draft as he did in round 1, but he's gonna have to switch some things up because round 1 did not go his way. So we'll see what he has prepared. I mean, we've seen this player all day today really adapt. Okay, the Yeonhong and Molong being locked in once again for Jack.
Yeah, I mean, this combo, we've seen second baby put so much respect on it throughout the drafts. He definitely doesn't like dealing with it as he brings in Pontos, a unit that has been so good for him, providing him with a lot of silence utility, a lot of protection. Diana there does mean, of course, Jack. This guy loves his Entourage.
Yeah, and this is looking exactly as it did in game number 1 when he started with the lead 1-0 against second baby. I mean, all that we're missing here is that Annabelle. It's going to be locked in, so it's the same exact picks for Jack. Yeah, we'll see if second baby, does he have something different? Until now, it's a exact mirror of round 1.
Yeah, just as you said, second baby, because he knows how it went on round 1, we would think, does he want to switch it up as he locks in Erika?
Okay, so now the bans, do they repeat as well. I mean, that Yeon Hong initially was being taken out, but it wasn't enough to keep Jack at bay. We'll see what second baby decides here.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is so high for both of these players. This win is going to decide it all. If they lose here, they're going to have to wait until tomorrow.
True.
So things are definitely on the highest pressure possible as we see Molong Yeonhong combo being let through and Carno being taken out. Rika is there. This is a match of so many units that have the spotlights on them. Many units can carry as Yeonhong grabs the first turn. She's got skill 2, skill 3. So many ways to boost the attack bar of a teammate as he goes for the charge vitality. Molong, he's got reckless assault, he's got dragon stance, he goes for the reckless, gets it onto Rika, 23,000. Yeonhong's gonna follow it up with the skill 2. He wants to be landing the strip.
Oh, not able to get it. Just all that damage, but not able to secure it.
Yeah, that no strip was so
no.
big because had the strip landed, the attack bar would have got increased and Sierra could have tried to finish her off. But now, at this point, there's too much protection on the side of second baby. Rika has an open field, goes for Toy Knight first, lands 2 stuns. Sierra procs are actually worthless at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again, that we saw the power of that protection in that last game, and it's happening once again. I mean, you just have to wait this out.
He's gonna try to stun, and he gets the stun. Now, the Antares does move, but the invincibility is going to protect Rika, allow her to get off that skill 3 before she could potentially die. In fact, there's even a removed heal from Lulu.
Man. I mean, this is just complete control by second baby as we just see everything being locked down against Jack.
Yeah, I mean, the Sierra's trying so hard for Jack. Like, come on, Jack, I want you to win this. But Sierra procs are just useless up into the Pontos as we see Diana probably not going to transform. That is way too greedy. Yeonhong, she cannot get skill 3 off anytime soon. Rika goes for the sleep, gets a stun instead. Pontos with the holy ground again.
I mean, we saw it. This is again happening. I mean, that Pontos are just keeping everyone so safe, and then there's the Lulu still. So like you mentioned, Jack is getting these turns where he's trying to put down some damage, but it's doing nothing. The Mo Long not doing anything, the Sierra neither.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just so much things going for the side of second baby as he takes the win of day 1 of SWC APAC preliminaries.
Yeah, second baby is going to be winning the winners finals here in Group A of the APAC preliminaries for SWC 2021. And he had an easy start, 2-0, 2-0, and it did have to go down to the last game here in this best of 5. But he's able to pull it off, and I really want to give credit to him because it was an exact mirror pick coming out from Jack, and he says, now I know what you're up to, I know how to play against you, and he tops it all off. 3-2 victory for second baby.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's been playing so well the whole entire day. Only dropping games against Jack. He's been here so confident, right? And in the end, even though he was up against the wall, he just comes back right away with the Rika. He knew it was the right pick at the moment, and indeed it was. The dots were too much. I feel like every time we've seen Rika, we have seen her pop off in about at least 70% of the matches.
Yeah, I mean, every time, we've seen her today, she's just been so crucial and not that commonly picked, but picked at the right times, right? These players who are picking up that Rika know exactly what to do with her, and you gotta give a round of applause for second baby. And listen, Jack put up a hell of a fight. I mean, he had some reads on second baby, but relying on that same comp, it wasn't able to carry him through in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, what if, right? We always can't think about what ifs. What if the Yeonhong landed strip, Sierra moved, bomb, then he wouldn't have got recut, right?
I mean, yeah, the plan was there, right? So obviously a round of applause to both players, but at the end of the day, it's second baby who just takes advantage of what's happening in the game. He's able to continue having that control, that lockdown against the enemy, and now it's going to be second baby who takes the finals. He secures his way out of Group A, but let's take a look at these highlights. I mean, we have 5 games to go through, Peter.
Yeah, we've got plenty of action to discuss about as we see game 1 where Jack was able to fully utilize his Anivil. This pick has been so successful for him throughout the tournament, and here is round 2 where second baby brought in a much more solid version of a control, and he was able to get a win back onto Jack. And now, Okeanos, we're seeing, of course, the reason why Okeanos can be bad sometimes, it's when he misses.
Yeah, that kind of really started the domino fall for second baby in that game 3.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Sierra was just taking whatever window of no immunity was available. And this was the match where this is the true definition of looking for a window of opportunity, right? Both players were so well protected throughout the whole match. Leo was looking so healthy, but all of a sudden, all that needed to happen was the armor breaks to land, Okeanos to follow up, and it was GG.
Yeah, and so they tied up 2-2, and it came down to this very last game.
Yeah, this is the crucial moment where we saw Yeonhong not get the strip, and once that happened, Pontos was able to move right after, providing invincibility time and time again. Now Rika just, doing Rika things, stunning everything, and that was a true example of a Rika showcase.
Yeah, so Rika kind of taking the final spotlight to bring home the victory for secondbaby as we're reviewing the match. Once again, it was a back and forth, but in the end, secondbaby wins it 3-2 to win the winners finals here in SWC 2021 APAC Preliminary Group A. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we had quite a lot of matches today, but this was just day one. Not only do we have tomorrow with the same group as we try to find out who makes it through the lower bracket, then we have so many more weeks. There's so much more Summoners War coming up.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the losers bracket, right? Now we are so well acquainted with these players. They have a bit of a story to them now. We know that these players all are thirsty for the win. Who will take it? Well, we don't need to wait too long to find out, fortunately.
Yeah, of course, we are going to be watching those matches tomorrow, but once again, it's good to note that secondbaby does secure a spot in the APAC Cup off of that last win. Now, here's what the bracket looks like on the other side. Initially, we have CHARMI, Luckygod, MDBB, and HWAN as they all lost their quarterfinals matches in Group A. They will have to fight to stay alive in losers round 1. fourbaby and Zisung wait in round 2. And of course, Jack waiting all the way at the end for the losers finals to have one extra chance to try to secure that second spot going to the APAC Cup here from Group A.
Yeah, like you said, Jack is sitting there as the final boss. He's just there watching everyone, getting the analysis going through on their team comms. I'm sure that he is going to be also really excited for tomorrow, as we have, of course, some event codes coming out for you guys. We got to make sure you guys get some of these Nat 5s as well, right? Because I'm sure you want to play with the Cardinal, you want to play with Mo Long. Well, this is your chance.
All right, well, this one, it's going to be SWC Yeoljung. It's Yeoljeong. Yeoljung in Korean kind of being like passion. You're passionate for something, you're driven for something. There's like a meme going around in Korea off of some YouTube channels where they're kind of trademark. It's like Yeoljung, and they're like screaming to just keep the drive going. So there you have it. That's something coming out from Korea for you, but go ahead and secure that code. Of course, this is for all of you watching from home, but what a way to kick things off here in the APAC preliminaries, Peter. We had some exciting matches, and the winners finals going all the way down to that 5th game. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, this was only the first day, but we had a little bit of everything. We had the clean 2-0s, we had the 1 versus 2, and of course the finals. Who doesn't love a 2-3? That is the definition of hype.
Yeah, I was kind of worried because secondbaby was 2-0ing both of his matches before. It seemed pretty simple for him, but we were able to get that 3-2. Secondbaby still secures that victory, and I think we've already seen quite a diverse pool, even just from this group, right? Where everyone in their interviews kind of mentioned the same monsters, but that was going to be it. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have other events coming up as well. Peter, I mean, the Summoners War Lost Century Adventure Match, it's coming up on August 8th. It's showtime for the World Showdown.
Yeah, I mean, we got showdown after showdown, Summoners War everywhere. Do make sure that you guys keep a tab on all of these tournaments because I'm sure that you're going to be in for a blast.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much content coming out from Summoners War, so this should be an exciting time for all of you waiting at home. If you're just kind of itching for something more to watch, right, something more to take part of, well, here you go. We've got SWC 2021 preliminaries going on. You've got that event, the World Showdown for Lost Centuria coming up. Lots of content coming up, but Peter, this day one, I am now fired up for all of these APAC preliminaries.
Yeah, I mean, we just can't wait. I'm sure the viewers can't wait as well to see some of these more exciting breakdowns into the meta from the very best of the best players.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited to see what HWAN brings out tomorrow because, again, he came in with a bit of a cheese and then he calmed it back down. So tomorrow, I mean, he's eliminated if he loses again. So we'll see if he tries something risky yet again or if he goes to a little bit more textbook.
textbook. That's what I would advise.
If you were coaching him, you'd be like, okay, that was enough. One try was enough. You had one shot. You lost it. Now you got to go back.
Now we're going back to the old school, the classics. We got to bring out the ragdoll, the Nephthys. Let's go and flex on them, but not in the way that we did early on, but in the way of more meta picks.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit safer. But here, I mean, even just in day one, Peter, sure, we saw a lot of these common monsters, but we've seen some combos coming out that have been making more of a resurgence here in this current meta, and we got to put a highlight on the Panda Warriors, all the different attributes really showing their strength.
Yeah, I mean, specifically Molong, right? I feel like that's the one that shined the most today. We've seen a lot of different combos with him. Yeonhong, Icarus, Daphnis, and even without a combo, he's still a fantastic unit.
Yeah, I mean, even just if you're able to get that nuke down initially, right, just burn someone right out off of that first turn. We've seen many different uses, and then we've seen some answers to that Molong as well, like in that finals, right, from secondbaby, just so much protection as long as that Pontos is able to continue cycling through. Then the Molong is just there, all these resets coming out. He can't really do anything. So already seeing some back and forth mind games. I mean, this is looking to develop, and we're going to see different metas in each group as well as we see different players coming through. So the APAC preliminaries across the weeks should be an absolutely exciting time.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of different metas coming out, I can't wait to go back home and rewatch that match between Fengyan and Patter because, oh my goodness.
That was, woo!
That's going to stick to my mind throughout the whole entire SWCs. I really, really need to see more like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a highlight match right there, right? The Fengyan just able to hold his ground, and then we were all just kind of not sure until the end because the stuns kept coming out from Petter, and
but he's got the chops, man. The chop, chop, chop. It's too strong.
Yeah, eventually Fengyan edges it out, but unfortunately, I mean, Peter not able to secure the win. We've had some good highlights today. We had some quick matches. We had some close ones. Off to a good start here for SWC 2021.
Yeah, and just breaking down into more about the start of SWC 2021, right? So the picks today that we saw are pretty much going to set the field for the rest of the matches coming out because all the players are watching and analyzing the meta. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see more of picks, even like Diana, Lulu, and friends, and maybe we'll see more Entrus as a response to Diana. There's just so many different ways, I feel like, in this game to counter individual aspects, and that's one of the most fun things to watch and break down.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options, right? So there's always an answer to something, and then, of course, on top of that, you have the draft. So there's a lot of mind games being played here and there. I mean, personally, Peter, I'm wondering, are we going to see more of these Onimushas? Because all these players are saying, oh, Onimushas are probably on the rise right now. They're getting the spotlight. Yeah, we saw a couple today, not to great success. I mean, does that keep the players away or not? That's another question on my mind as we wait to see more matches throughout these APAC preliminaries.
Yeah, you made a great point about these Onimushas because these monsters are absolutely the highlight of attention these days because they are so powerful. They are the go-to picks for bruisers in many scenarios. And as you mentioned, we've seen them a couple of times today to not much success. But I do still believe, at least hope, that we will see more actions from Onimushas and to more success, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Onimushas, we saw a different variant, Trevor, coming out of nowhere. Maybe more bruisers like that too. I am definitely down.
Yeah, we saw Trevor, but Trevor didn't see anything because he didn't get to take a turn at all, right? We saw him just standing there. He was just stunned forever. He wasn't able to get anything done. So a bit unfortunate. But listen, I mean, I love that even right off the bat, these players are, right, trying some new things, right, that you might not expect, especially because it's double elimination. Personally, in any type of esport, I'm much more interested in seeing players take advantage of that format and say, okay, well, can I try something new, maybe build up more of a reputation where people have to be afraid? If it doesn't work, you still got another chance.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Speaking of reputation, HWAN, right? We keep mentioning coming back to HWAN. When it comes to reputation, we cannot forget the true whale of South Korea.
Yeah, I mean, he names himself in Korean, literally True Whale, as an inspiration from True Whale himself. So we'll see if he's able to carry on kind of the legacy around that name for himself here in the APAC preliminaries. But so far, well, you know, it wasn't very promising, but he does have another chance tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about all of these potential chances for the players coming out. I'm sure that these players are definitely going to be really thirsty for the wins. They're going to make sure that they get whatever wins they can. They're going to go back to their list, right? They sometimes create a format, already predicting what the opponent's going to pick. Okay, then if he picks that, I'm going to pick this. I'm going to ban this. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of altercations for that tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow's matches are going to be very important. Once again, tomorrow it is for elimination, and I think we're just going to have to make sure we review the brackets, make sure that we have the matchups. But these players, again, after today, sure, you have one more chance. But after tomorrow, you're out. Your SWC 2021 run is over. You're not going to get to challenge the world. You're not going to get to go for the crown. You want to make it to the APAC Cup because that's not the end, right? There's so many steps, Peter, to get to the World Finals and try to become that champion.
Yeah, I mean, this is the last chance tomorrow, as you said. One of the main benefits, of course, that comes with being a World Finals is the cash prize, 210,000. That's not little.
Yeah, you have to talk about it, right? I mean, sure, there's a lot else that comes with it. Of course, there's the glory, right? There's the pride, and there's all of that. And just when you're competing, anyone who competes in anything, you feel great when you win. But listen, there is a prize, right? There's like an actual physical prize that matters quite a bit as well. So there's a lot on the line for some of these players. I mean, of course, especially I think for the new faces, right? They're just driven. We had a couple here in Group A. We'll get to see them continue tomorrow as well. But then the returning names like CHARMI today. I mean, I know in the interview, in his profile, he said, this year I'm not so sure about my prep. I'm just going to make sure I enjoy the event, give it my all. But you were third last year at SWC 2020. The viewers have an expectation for CHARMI, so we'll see if he's able to keep it up and keep his tournament life alive here in the APAC preliminaries. All right, well, let's make sure we double-check the brackets here. We just want to make sure that we have the right matchups, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's coming up tomorrow. Now, don't forget, it is 2 p.m. KST. If you're wondering, that should be 10 p.m. Pacific time, and those are the only two time zones I can memorize in my brain, so please make sure you double-check your time zones around the world to find out how this bracket plays out. CHARMI versus MDBB, Luckygod versus HWAN will be losers round 1. And then they'll be moving on to face fourbaby and Zisung respectively. Jack, of course, waiting in that losers finals. And the good news for Jack is he's already in that best of 5 slot once again, right? So he has a bit more of a cushion to make sure he can prove himself.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be paying close attention to who makes it through these losers round 1, 2, and 3. And I'm sure that as soon as round 3 ends, that's like his only time of window to create a strategy specifically for that one player.
Yeah, so we'll see, if he's able to take advantage of that. Of course, he's going to also be a little anxious, I'm sure, just waiting to play, right? He only has that one match to play. He's waiting all the way to the end, but he will have a lot of resources. Well, Peter, I mean, listen, I am just excited for tomorrow. Not just these players, but again, all these other groups that we haven't even touched upon yet. Of course, every weekend we will have a new group for you here in the APAC preliminaries.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely a great point because when it comes to these regions and groups, whenever it comes to like Group A, Group B, Group C, they've always had different meta, and it's so exciting to see them.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking with us as we kick things off here at SWC 2021 APAC preliminaries. We just started. It's only been day 1. I know it seemed like we had a lot of matches. It's because we did, but we have so many more for you. We already had one best of 5. Peter, tomorrow we're going to have another one. Of course, we just mentioned Jack is already waiting there at the bottom of the bracket. 1 slot left to move out of Group A into the APAC Cup. Don't miss it. We'll be back tomorrow with more SWC 2021.
another day. It all begins to start.